Second. All fair right? It's our pleasure tonight to have Mr. Jackson and our friend Jackson for 4-H. He's going to open us up in the invocation of the pledge.
Please bow your head. Father God, we come to you tonight, Lord. We just thank you for all that you give us. We thank you for this life that you've bestowed upon us, and we just ask your mercy and grace upon us. We ask that as we come to this meeting tonight, that you would be with our leaders, Lord, that you would give them wisdom and understanding to do the things that they ought to do, and give them courage to do the things they should do as well. Lord, we also pray that you would be with our country as a whole, and be with our world, and that you just put a hand on each and every one of us, that we might seek to do the things that you have called us to do, and seek to bring glory to your name. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to recognize the celebrity in this room. If y'all walked in here, you notice this is the Charlotte Wilson boardroom. We were very honored to have Miss Wilson, Miss Charlotte Wilson. All right, I really want y'all to get this young lady, her and a couple others used to run this entire county, and did a very good job of it. And it was just, like I said, recognizing her. This is the second time I've got that opportunity, and we thank you very much. You're welcome anytime. As we go forward, Mr. Centracci, we'll start planning on tonight.
Chairman, our only zoning item this evening is a request by Menatiero. It's a request for 351 Otis Redding Road to allow a public event venue. This is a conditional use in the agricultural district. The planning commission has recommended approval of this request.
Is the applicant here tonight?
Can you hear me? Okay, beautiful. Good evening, Board of Commissioners and Jones County residents. My name is Menat Tejero. I live on 351 Otis Redding Drive since 2020. I'm the property with the dome. Dome. I'm here today to get approval for my request for conditional use as an event venue. During the last planning and zoning meeting on January 22nd, I was approved by CNC. I met the standards required by the Jones County Code for conditional use in this rural area. I want to host overnight retreats, ideally 2 to 5 nights for groups up to 15 people. I have beds for this amount of guests. This is a no drinking, no drugs venue. These are small scale gatherings emphasizing rest, hiking, yoga, movement, introspection, team building, group activities, and fresh air. I have amenities to support these experiences. Hot tub, pool, sauna, cold plunge, fire pits, and trails within 153 acres of my property. I also have a large tent zone for gatherings, and I want to be able to host daytime events, such as women's circle, book club, creative classes, meditation, celebration, yoga, sound healing. I'm serving communities and individuals who want to experience harmony in nature. The wellness industry has also reached the corporate sector. I come from a professional background, and I know how much these spaces are needed. I believe my offer moves in the direction of the values of this community, of promoting the natural beauty of Jones County, and also bring more financial resources to it. I have reached out to my neighbors and several concerns have been brought up. Noise. I have established quiet hours, and I also market this space as a serene space for relaxation and peace. My guests don't ride 4x4s up and down the roads, nor go exploring at night. Traffic. Otis Redding has only 4 or 5 cars a day. My small number of guests can't impact the flow of cars. All gatherings are for registered guests. People cannot drive up without having registered and spoken with me. Boundaries. We have clearly marked trails and property boundary signs. I can always look into making them clearer. I give my guests maps of the trails and also the property boundaries. Taxes. There was a concern that it could increase taxes on my neighbor's properties. So I spoke with Bill Goodman at the tax assessor's office, and he said that that is not true. Cuba. One of my neighbors expressed that he wants me to remain in Cuba. I talked to Kim at the tax assessor's office, and she told me that if my guests walked through the woods, I would be an infraction. Therefore, I do not qualify for Cuba. This means that I pay more property taxes, and I'm still being a good steward of my land. Hunting. One of my neighbors who hunts rabbits is afraid she could shoot a guest. Based on a map I saw from P&Z, I see that she has a very small part of her property that is adjacent to mine, and it is from the furthest area where we usually don't go. I also know hunters know what they are aiming at, so doesn't feel that's something I should be concerned about. My website. One of the neighbors is concerned with the information I share on my website. I am a transparent person, and the website is there to be seen. I have a retreat for April, which was booked last year before I received a letter to stop my business. Also, I have started setting up an affiliate program to people I know who have communities interested in retreats. But I haven't given them materials to reach out to the community. I have been focusing on what I could do, so once approved, I could be ready to move forward. Somebody was concerned that this property was in my homestead. This is my home. I travel to visit my family. My kids are in Tennessee, family in Miami, family in DC. But because it's part business, I'm not allowed to have it as a homestead. Uncertainty. I have no interest in further developing the property, nor wanting to manage more buildings. I love peace and simplicity of what is. Since buying the property, I have not increased the footprint, and I have honored what was there. This process with planning and zoning and the Board of Commissioners of Jones County has made it very clear to me that there is a process, and I feel safe that the system will also stop future developments that are not in alignment with the values of the community. In closing, I'm here to get approval for an event venue that celebrates the natural beauty of the county, brings financial resources, and supports the community with a safe space to share in nature. Thank you for your time and consideration. I am eager to answer any questions and discuss any concerns you might have.
Any of the board want to start off? Any questions? Any questions? Anybody here tonight in favor of this request would like to speak? In favor or against?
In favor, and we're both on the list.
Okay, all right. And then anybody opposed will be here today. Anybody in favor? Anybody in favor? Please come forward at this time, and then we'll entertain all the opposed.
And we will keep a track of time to give both sides the equivalent time this evening.
Is it a 1 minute limit?
We just try to do it as fair as we can. It's a public meeting. and
Okay.
if
Okay, I
anybody-
had myself timed before, but I won't have to speak so quickly.
Sure.
Yes, my name is Blaine Lawler. My address is 1517 Lane Road. Can y'all hear me okay? I apologize for my voice. So I'd like to speak to you as a proud rural American who loves small towns. As nice as it is to have a McDonald's and a Dollar General, those are not the places that create small town charm. It is the unique people and the unique places that can't be found anywhere else that create that special quality of life. People like Minna who bought a one-of-a-kind house that naturally speaks to a visionary. We're so fortunate that she's called to share her vision. I visited the florist many times as a friend. I've taken my mother, my sister, my stepdaughter. All of us are very different women, but we're all Middle Georgia natives through and through. We all leave the florist renewed, inspired, and balanced. This is not just about improving something for Minna, but this is about allowing or robbing Jones Countyans of a very special resource. Minna's values, her boundaries, her respect for her neighbors are the strongest that I have seen. And as someone who understands the fears that people can have of their little piece of heaven being intruded upon, I firmly believe that such fears are unfounded here and that approval by this board can only be an asset for this area. And thank you for hearing me.
Introduce yourself and your address, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Nina. I'm here to speak for the florist from Minna. Can you hear me?
Your address, please.
Yes, 3876 Northside Drive, Macon. I've known Minna for about a year now, and I consider her a close friend. I'm a consultant and international speaker. I've been all over Europe and the Middle East. I was born in Iraq. I was raised in London. That's why my accent. I hope you can all understand me. I can honestly say that the florist is one of the most peaceful, magical, and serene places that I've experienced. It's been crafted with so much thoughtfulness and love, and where I can completely understand the concerns of any community of the commercialization of a residential area, I can hand on my heart say that this doesn't need to be a concern in regards to the florist. Because rather than being a liability and destructive to the community and the residents, I strongly believe the florist will be a wonderful asset to the whole community as well as actually Georgia as a state. It's clean, it's alcohol free, it's quiet, and just the respect and love that Minna has translates to the community of people that she draws to her. And they tend not just to be loving and people who respect other people and community, but also to respect the environment and nature in general. And I wasn't going to say this part, it wasn't written down, but of all the world, of all of America, I've chosen my residency to be Georgia the last 2 years. There's a warmth. I've lived in New Jersey, New York, I've been all over, and I love the warmth that is in Georgia, and especially Macon and Jones County, where I regularly train and do martial arts. I love this nation because of the freedom, but also that it stands under God. And just one thing that came to me as I was standing there was the quote from the Bible that says, the plans I have for you are to prosper you and not to harm you. And those words just came to my head. I felt called to share that with you. Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Katie Johnson. I live at 131 Siler Road, Gray, Georgia. Been here my entire life. I met Minna about a year ago, a little over a year ago. I've been to her place. It is beautiful. It is respectful for nature. If you want to go and relax and enjoy being with people that have the same thing in mind, it is an awesome place. She's not there to have wild parties like stuff. It's just relaxing. You can meditate. It's just awesome. It's very calm and relaxing. I feel like if people knew more about what it was, they would want to go spend more time there. I think that it's a good thing for Jones County, and people might enjoy it if they try it. All right?
Anyone else here tonight supporting this request? If not, we'll start with the opposed on this.
Want to get them to raise their hands, because if there's a lot, we may need to limit it to
Okay.
one each.
I'll do it. I got such a sign in right now. That's all I'm saying.
You may want to limit it though.
Okay, Ms. Bethany, you were first on signing. Yep.
I'm Beth Williams.
Okay, so we've got,
About 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll be very fast. Okay, that way they don't have to take their time. I went to see Miss Nina's property. It is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. There is no denying that. However, so many of my community members have reached out to me on their behalf, as well here. Once we take away the agricultural zoning, it's gone. Even if it's conditional, it's still gone. We have no guarantee that would ever go back to that. And our agriculture in Georgia is of utmost importance. And I cannot support something that's taking away our zoning of agriculture, nor will I ever support something in that. And I'm fairly disappointed that it got as far as it did without the community involvement. But that, and then on another side note, as I read through the website, I was disturbed when I saw or read through not allowing service animals on the property. That, pretty sure, because as I'm also an international speaker throughout the world as a special education and those with disabilities or differently able advocate, not allowing a service animal on the property is not inclusive. I was also realizing that we are in the county areas and still in the city as well, a volunteer fire department. I know, I'm sure that you guys fire extinguishers there, but I cannot see them. I can't see them, could a guest see them? There's 153 acres, and there's no age limit, you can be there. There was no defibrillator on the property. It will take quite some time if someone is in distress, and people of all ages can get in distress and need one of those. Those are some just health concerns that I have, and just inclusive of all people. There's no accessible, that I could see, this is just me seeing, there's no accessible, pool is not accessible for those who are differently abled. There's no nature walks accessible for those who are differently able. This is an able-bodied place, an affluent able-bodied place. You should have a person, this is not for a district who, with every school that is Title I, I don't see us being able to utilize this for the most of us. But it's not for us. Ms. Mina has an MBA. She is in the business of making money. I don't blame her. We would all love to make money, but this is not the place. That's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Manning, you've signed in the For the record, introduce yourself and your address. I forgot to ask.
Yeah. Good evening, my name is Jackie Manning, and I reside at 615 Otis Reading Drive, Roanoke, Georgia. And I'm adamantly opposed to the approval of conditional use permit for it being on Otis Reading. First, I would like to respectfully request that Commissioner Bowling recuse herself from this vote. There was comments made on a social media post regarding this very issue before the board before this evening. Otis Reading is a quiet, rural, peaceful, residential, agricultural community of small family-run farms, hunting land, and family ancestral homesteads. Most of the residents out there have lived out there their whole life. This is a commercial business that would impact each and every one of us. First, I want to address that statements that were made planning and zoning. We can also make here tonight that she spoke to her neighbors. We live at 615. My father-in-law lives at 609. My sister-in-law lives at 611. She didn't speak to any of us. I've never actually met her in the entire time she's lived there. This property is an all-inclusive commercial baseball. It is baseball amenities. It is licensed for a hotel with the state of Georgia. It has been running that way. She readily admits
even after the first planning and zoning meeting, when she was told not to host events, that she rented the property out as a whole to third parties who then hosted events. So she went through a third party to continue hosting events, even after told not to do so. She had stated to planning and zoning that these domes were all constructed on the property when she purchased it. They were not. There were 2 domes. She's constructed an additional 2 since owning the property. In regards to the drain of the resources in the area, for the last 25 years, my job has been to recognize, predict, and assess risk. This business advertises mainly to urban corporate individuals. A big selling of this retreat is that the 153 acres has of Ditswood land is for hiking. The trails may be marked, but human nature doesn't have a mark. It doesn't say, stay on this trail. Curiosity, and you take urban people out into the woods, and they go off the trail in 153 acres, somebody's going to get lost. Now next, everybody has a cell phone. GPS will lead right back out to the road. Not a thing. You have no cell signal on Otis Redding. You don't have any going out into the woods. This becomes a drain on your county, because now 911 is called, numerous deputies and dogs have to be brought out to search for somebody. This is a drain of county resources. This is not a cost that's passed on to the landowner or to the party, because Jones County has no statute to pass that cost on. That's a cost paid by taxpayers. This is county, this road is not serviced by city water or county water, city sewage, or trash pickup. We're on wells out there. So you add more use to the water table, draining again the resources that we have. We're also, as Beth stated, we're on a volunteer fire department. It is 8 miles. Again, there are no fire hydrants. You're bringing a water truck out. One of the features that she offers is a fire ceremony. That's one per amenity. So you've got a volunteer fire department. You've got a water truck that has to come out. Again, we have a volunteer EMS that is parked in Gray. That is 12 miles away. When you are offering hiking over 153 acres, there's any type of event that could happen. As is 41 years old, that 41 years old had a heart attack. So it's not uncommon. To get EMS out there, it's going to take time. That's a liability, again, and it's a drain on the resources. I could continue to go through all of the reasons, the various things that have been done here that were semantics were used to bypass the rules, to bend the rules. And I'd like to present this, several printouts from her business page, her social media page, contradicting statements made to planning and zoning regarding her being out at events, showing that she was not in town during events being held, stating that she would only hold 3 to 5 events a month. One month she was booked every day but 6 days out of the month. So there may be the greatest intentions, but what I've seen does show that they're backed up. So, thank you.
Anyone else? I think you're next. Introduce yourself and your address.
Janine Wilson, 162 Shoal Creek Road, Round Oak, Georgia. I've lived there for 34 years-ish. I've been in Jones County for 40 years. I've taught in the Jones County school system or in the school system locally for 40 years, either teaching or subbing. I live on the corner of Shoal Creek Road. My son has goats there. We have turkeys. We have bees down the road that we take honey from. We are an agricultural family. Okay, my husband is involved with the harvesting of timber as well too. We do not need this in our community. Jackie said it all. My thing is, this could open the door, as my husband so eloquently said at Sunday school Sunday. This could very easily open the door, just a slight crack, to let in this, but then that crack leads to more happening that does not fit what we have in Jones County in our Roundup community. We like our quiet, peaceful time. Yes, I know she's going to be quiet, peaceful, and meditating with these extra people coming in, the extra traffic. And I think I've been told, and maybe I've misunderstood. If I have, I apologize, that they will be coming in, doing their thing, and then leaving. What benefit is it going to be to me? How is it going to help me? How is it going to help my community? How is it going to help Jones County? We don't need this. If you want it, get some property, let her build it by your house. Or down below your house. Have a good one.
Well, they're within 20 seconds, exactly equal, but if we could pause just a second and call Mr. House back up. Is there anything that's been stated that's incorrect?
Just a statement that the zoning would change, the agricultural zoning would be taken away. The agricultural zoning does remain in place. This doesn't change that.
This does not remove the zoning as agricultural.
Tim, is there any other questions for Tim from the board?
In connection with that, so conditional use, if granted and the conditional use goes away, it reverts back to the previous zoning, the agricultural that it always
The
stays.
zoning doesn't change.
Right, but the conditional use goes away, nothing else can happen.
That's correct. It doesn't allow anything else to take place. Whatever the specific conditions of the conditional use are that are granted, they're in place. If the business discontinues for a period of 60 days, then the conditional use expires.
Is there any other expiration? Or is it in place for so long as the business remains operational?
That is correct. As long as the business is in operation, it may continue.
And if, just for the board's information, if there's any violations to the conditions placed, what occurs?
That would be a civil matter. At that point, we could bring suit for violating the regulations.
I heard a statement said that they were shut out. Your office had cease and desist until it's zoned. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We received complaints. We notified the applicant of the complaints, and she filed this in response to that.
To your knowledge, nothing's taken place since then.
I do not know.
Okay. I heard there was something.
Other than online bookings, it sounds like just continuing to book online and moving forward with anticipation of approval, is what I'm hearing.
I couldn't speak for that, sir.
But right, I think the applicant stated that she continued to book, continue for April venue. See, I have a question, Tim. Does this conditional use with a limit on the nighttime guests or daytime visitors?
That would be incumbent upon whoever makes the motion for approval, if it is to be approved. So whatever conditions are elected to be put in place, that would be part of the conditional use.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Jim? You got about 20 seconds. Is somebody opposed like to come forward? Just try to keep everything equal. This is a public meeting. All the officers.
Hi, Shelby Scoggins, Christopher. I live at 470 Jackson Road. I joined with her in the back. I want to know what has anybody thought about the, according to the U.S. Forest Service with the Federal United States Geological Society, they have boundary lines on that 16 acres that's there with her that is protected. It is a national burial site for the Creek Indian Nation. Has anyone ever thought about that? That it is there, and I checked into it, and it is protected property. How's she going to control the people on 153 acres to see that this site is not touched or neglected? Because NAPRA is protected that that site as well. It's been registered, and like I said, it is a federal reserve, or it is federal right there. So I would like to know how she thought about that, or how the board considered that right there. That's all I've got to say, being from Native American heritage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, with that, if you'd like to come forward again, you get opportunity to answer any and all these questions, and they also bring their, try to keep it all.
Thank you. Service animals are legally allowed on the property. I wrote emotional support animals aren't. So in regards to fire hydrants, I have in the laundry room, in the kitchen, in the barbecue. I have commercial insurance, and they made sure that I had all that in place. Defibrillator is a great idea. My sister had scans, so I think it's something that I should have on the property, so I think it's a great idea. The bathroom is handicapped, also family friendly. I made a parking with ramps for handicapped people. The whole driveway, I have half a mile of driveway that is paved. It's fantastic for all kinds, even babies with strollers, people on wheelchairs. So the neighbors that I didn't speak to, I did pull up into their driveways. I did want to speak with them and honked a few times. Somebody recommended doing that, but they didn't come out. And even though they followed me on Facebook, they haven't ever addressed me. They haven't ever addressed me and sent me a direct message to speak, and I didn't know the right to do it. So I did not register for sales tax. I did not register as hotel. It's the denomination is other accommodations. The people that come in groups, nobody goes alone out into the nature, so they're not going to be alone. Also, I have service in the whole property. So all throughout the property, I have their service. Fire ceremony is just sitting around the fire with intention, present, with a clear mind, just honoring the present moment. Regarding the Indian mounds, I know Tracy, who's at the directory of the Monkey Mounds, and she's a friend of mine. I met her through the Chamber of Lincoln. And so I'm talking with her, and if there's anything that I can honor and protect that, she'll be the first one telling me, because there are a lot of satellite Indian mounds in the area, and Monkey Mounds is about to become a national park. And so there are going to be a lot of resources for me to educate and to keep it sacred. So also the month that was full, if that's 6 days, yes, that was the month that I shared that I booked the property. Last year it was April 2023. The letter I received in August, and I did not book anything else. I honored it. Some people said, oh, you could have done it and get fined, but I'm a person of family, integrity, I'm a family person, and I respect. But I did try to set everything up, so once if approved, then I could hit the ground running. So I think I addressed the comments that I heard.
Any more questions for the applicant? Like you said? None? We got 2 minutes and 52 seconds to anybody like to come forward in opposition of, or if there's something that we hadn't already heard. If anybody has got something that we hadn't already heard, we try to utilize your time as best as possible. Somebody else like to come forward? No one? Board want to see us on the show of hands, or do we want to do a motion first, or what do we want to do?
We need to have a motion to accept.
Okay.
I got it.
Good
Good evening.
Address of
Good evening, everybody. My name is Susan Barron. I live at 511 Dye Road. I've lived in Jones County all my life. Brown Oak is my home. My home. And I don't think this is needed in the area. You know, it may be good for property taxes, for taxes and everything else, but not in Brown Oak. I do not believe this is the place for it. I think that she has done some things ahead of time that I do not agree with. And I think that I feel like it's not being taken seriously enough
that she may be trying to find other ways around what she's trying to get. And this area is beautiful without it. Spot services, closer to town. We love our community. We love our woods. We love our forests. We don't want it changed. And I know that y'all have to make some difficult decisions when it comes to things like this. But I please ask you, not here in Round Oak. This is my home, and I don't want to see my home changed because you open it up. I think I've heard several people say you open it up to one little thing and something else that can change. So please vote no. Thank you.
Anyone else opposed, like to speak with something we hadn't already heard? No one? Mr. Lord, please.
Ken, could you come up just a moment? Mr. Petrowski.
Sorry. All right, so on the conditional use, what is the conditional use? What is the written words on the conditional use?
Whatever's contained in the application. So if the board chose to put any limitations in place, that would need to be specified, otherwise you're strictly approving what has been asked for. The application itself does not specify time limits, number of participants, number of events per period, or anything like that.
The application itself just says event space / retreat space. So any further stipulations would need to be added, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's the application. This page.
Anything else, Commissioner Ball? Mr. Martin, you got anything?
Motion. Chairman, I got
Okay.
a clarification question first. I know noticed there were some notes in the analysis from the P&Z committee, and I just wanted to just make note that it was approved through P&Z, or the recommendation for approval, but there were some staff reports about concerning outdoor lighting, noise, and all this, that recommended conditions on the conditional use. I've read through those. I also just want to make note that this has, even in the notes of the P&Z staff records, this has been done before, and by this board. So it's not anything new. I do understand that from what I'm hearing, that the biggest concern is the unknown and the what if. And if we approve this, what's next? I just want to be real clear to them that a conditional use is only approved for the verbiage and the conditional use, whatever conditions that we put in there to approve it. Anything outside of that has to come back to this board to approve.
Correct.
So if she says that she wants to build something else, she has to come back before this board, or it's against the conditional use.
If she wants to build anything else for this event venue, that would be against the approval. If she elected to build some other structure for an agricultural purpose or residential purpose that was not related to the event venue, that would be something that could be permitted by right.
Who wants to start us off?
I will. Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna make a motion at this time, motion to deny conditional use of 351 Otis Redding Drive to 153 acres.
With the motion, do we have a second? Motion down for a second.
Based on the approval of the zoning planning board, of the recommendation, a motion to approve the conditional use at 351 Otis Redding Drive.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Any restrictions?
I do not.
Second.
Second, now time for discussion.
Chairman, I would offer that we do put restrictions on there, just what we discussed, and I would ask for a friendly amendment to put the restrictions of the lighting and the noise pollution that comes off the property be confined to the property, and then any expansion or any expansion to the event venue be limited to come back to this board for approval. And I think that will go a long way of alleviating fears of neighbors that, what's next.
My only concern with that, and I would accept it, is light pollution. Like, light is subjective to a certain degree, and I know you have significant experience with lighting. I don't want a neighbor calling the sheriff just because they see a flashlight or people walking through the woods. That's the concern that I would have. Other than that, I would genuinely agree with you.
And light pollution is considered a permanent fixture that causes light so that it interferes with another person's property off of that property.
I agree with you 100%. I just don't want a neighbor to call because, light pollution to us means what it means. But if someone traipsing through the wood as a group, and it looks like something different. I'll accept.
Happy to redo the senior,
I'll accept the friendly amendment.
Okay. All right, you can accept the invitation. You have a second on that set? Second. All right.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
are we clear on the friendly amendment? Because I was not able to hear it.
You got another,
You got it, John?
could you read it back and make sure that everybody understands what it's?
Dayline made the motion to approve, Wendy second, and then, Sam asked for the amendment, Dayline made the motion to approve, to add the, restrictions, with the lighting, the noise, expansion was coming before the board, Wendy second.
Is there any restrictions on head count?
No.
No.
So I think that would be considered covered under the expansion because I think the amenities are what they are and they limit the number of guests that are able to be there now. I think she said she could accommodate up to 15, so the expansion of that will come back to the board.
Do we need to clarify?
I think the limiting, so to my SPED person, as a SPED teacher and taught in the system, you couldn't host a SPED class with that limitation. So I think we start to confine the capacity of what can be done. If a church group wanted to go, you couldn't take the average leadership group from a church. You could barely take this county commission and the department head. So I don't want to say you can only do 15 or 20, but she knows she can't accommodate 1,000, so I think we need to be realistic about that. There's only 2 bathrooms and 4 or 5 sleeping areas. I think the Boy Scout facility could probably host more than she can, just for perspective.
Any more discussion? This time, show us hands that support this request, and I'll ask for a show of hands that, ask for denial. Everyone in here that's here in support this request, please raise your hand. Everybody that asked that we deny this request, please show your hand. Everyone's in the hallway.
Yeah, it's a hallway.
Everybody in the hallway? This time, all in favor? Aye, approved? Aye. Opposed? We'll be honest, I have till tonight, everybody I've talked to is fine. I'm sorry. Till tonight, everybody I've talked to is fine with this, as long as she can do no further than what she's doing, because I know there's a lot of fears, but, there's another request that she withdraw. Till tonight, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't had anybody other than that supported us either way. And as long as there was no room for expansion, that she couldn't do anything unless the board approved it. And, That's what we had tonight. Had a good crowd here tonight, and, takes the gym out, okay? Board appointments. Appoint Steve Hoyt to the planning zone and appeals and adjustment for 5-year term. Mr. Peaches, I think this should be a report.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion, Steve Ford,
We'll give it back.
Wait, my man, I couldn't see.
Chris, we can't hear you. If I can't hear you, they can.
Okay, all right. I can hear they don't, I can't hear them, so let's go back. Yeah. Ms. Jordan, are you here tonight? Would you come forward? Jordan, you come here as a visitor for the cemetery.
Perhaps we could ask the people in the hall to be quiet.
Yes.
Or exit on up that way. Like it does get home. Can we just Sarah for a while?
Is Sarah here?
Yes, Sarah's here.
Sure, can we get you to sit right there for a minute?
Just a moment.
Just a moment.
Can you turn it just a little bit?
You gotta talk closer to it.
All right, how's this? Okay, I try to do better. From time to time, we have employees come forward and ideas and everything. We like to recognize the employees. Not only do we want to recognize the employee, we want to recognize the daughter position employee that, we have talked quite at length about the new logo for Jones County. Ms. Wendy, I think you've got, roll on this one. When we do this, I'd like to take a group picture.
Okay, we gotta get somebody else to do it since Debbie's at home recovering from hip surgery. So Debbie, we wish you well. All right, so we asked, we had the Middle Georgia Regional District to look at redesigning logos for the Jones County Jones County government, and none of us liked any of the designs. They were just not what we thought we liked for our actual logo to go on our new vehicles and to go on our buildings. It didn't represent Jones County. It was very generic. And so, if I call him Pee Wee, I'm sorry, that's what I grew up knowing him as. But Jerry Jr. Rowland, who works in Public Works, came up to me after one of the meetings and said, hey, I would like Sarah to look at this. And Sarah and my youngest son went to school together. And I knew that she went to school at Young Harris to become a graphic designer. So Jerry took the paperwork home to her, and we had kind of, me and Ashley, I think, had kind of drew out some designs and ideas. And so Sarah took it and ran with it, and she came up with these 4 designs that y'all see up above you. If y'all can't see up above, y'all hold it up right here. And so she actually had, I think, 6 to begin with, and we narrowed it down to these 4. And I think now we're gonna let our employees kind of vote on it and see which one they like the best. And they're gonna pick one for us to have on all of our new logos for everything for Jones County. But I just want to, at this time, tell Jerry, thank you for being an employee that saw a need and that you had someone that could help us with that need. And Sarah, I want to thank you for taking the lead as just a citizen of Jones County and helping to pick out something and provide us with something that we had already been working so hard for, and in one try, you captured what we wanted. And we appreciate you for that. Now we're gonna put it to the test of the employees and let them pick out the one that they like the best. Now, if me and Ashley don't like it, it may not be the one, but we're gonna try our best. And did I say that out loud? So at this time, I would like for Jerry and Sarah to come up.
Have a picture with both.
So, Andrew, you gotta stop right there. Brody, bring. Stop right.
We have a few seats, there are a few seats.
We voted for Laura.
That anybody is wanting to see, there's the front page. Here's one, there's one here on the second row.
I remember when you were born.
Come on, say, come on over this side. Turn
That's better.
Now, on three will say Brody brings it. 2, 3. Brody brings it.
Brody's not in, I'm trying to do it.
All right, that's great.
Great job.
Great job.
Hey, you were still.
Mr. Jordan, I appreciate your time. This was not an agenda item, but this young lady, she finally came in and tried to do this first meeting, and she finally made it here. She can go home.
Oh, yeah, because I forgot, she works at Vital Labs in McDonough, and she made it here after getting stuck in traffic. Yes. Thank you.
My name is Gladys Combs Jordan. 323 Green Settlement Road, Gray, Georgia. I'm here to talk about Walter Pitt Cemetery, which is considered state place. The location from the railroad intersection in Gray, you take Cumberland Road approximately 1 mile south to the intersection of Overland Way. This cemetery is located just past the intersection on the right side of the road. District 9, land lot 18. The day it was second surveyed, the second surveying audit was on February the 20th, 2002. The cemetery status is currently active. The permanent race, both black and white. You have one John Doe white male buried there. There is approximately 100 graves unmarked. This cemetery was dedicated or was given to Jones County as a black cemetery. And we got the word that there will be no more putting graves at the cemetery. We don't understand why or who it came from. We like to know who stated this, where it come from, who signed for this, and how they could do this. This is probably a black cemetery. I've lived in Jones County 83 years. I will be 83 years old the 10th of August. I've only known that cemetery. We've had no problems with anybody coming in trying to stop burials in that cemetery. We would like to know whose idea this is. We would like to know where it's coming from. And how can anybody go in and just say that there will be no more burial in that cemetery? I called the commissioner's office on Monday, and I asked for a meeting on Thursday, and I asked for a meeting, and I can't think of the young lady's name. She didn't even give me a chance to finish saying what and how. She just stated there would be no more. She could explain to me who, what, when, or where this happened. And we would like to know, as a black community, how, when, where, and how somebody could just come in and close down this cemetery, say no more burying there. But this has been going on in Jones County all our lives. My foreparents are there. There's a whole cemetery buried in there. I just buried one of my ex-son-in-laws there. My husband is there. There is a grave site right beside him when they're saying there's no more grave. If I had wanted to go there, put yourself in my situation. If your wife was there, and you wanted to be buried there, and somebody could just walk in and tell you that you can't go there and bury when this land was dedicated by Walter Pitts as one as a black cemetery. And we would like to know why, who, what, when, and where this was stated by somebody that we should not bury in the cemetery. And we would like to know whose idea, where it come from, how it come up, who, what, when, or where. Even if we have to go further with this, we will. We will find out who, what, when, and where, and how they can stop us from burying in that cemetery, which has been there all our lives, and it's been buried in there all our lives. You gotta think, there is somebody that might not be able to buy a cemetery plot. We gotta stop saying who can do what, when, or where, and put ourselves in other people's situations. See, there's a God up there. He's looking down. He knows our whole. And we gotta get together on this thing. We want to know what, when, where, and how, and we want to answer about who can stop the black from buried in a black cemetery. All right. They didn't go up on high tide and say the whites couldn't bury up there. They closed one black cemetery. Now they're trying to close another one that has been there as long as I can live. You got people that buried there that's all the way back to 1920. And then you got somebody that don't even know about the cemetery that wants to come in and stop the burial there. We would like to know why, how, when, and all right.
So over 20 years ago, as best we can tell, the Board of Commissioners moved from indigent burials to indigent cremation. And so what we do now, and we may get 3 or 4 requests a year from they come through funeral homes, sometimes through families of people that died here in Jones County that are indigent and are unable to afford a plot or cremation. And so we pay $700 for that directly to a funeral home. And so that's the program that was going to way back for indigent purposes. Since that time, obviously, there have been burials that have continued to take place there. Just in the last month, we had someone call here and say, can I bury someone there? We said, no, and they went ahead and buried them there anyway. And so, we've had unauthorized burials take place there. We have no records of who's buried there. We're not set up to have a cemetery operation. And so, it's kind of been a free-for-all over there in recent years. And so what I did, and it was, the letter came from me, and I sent it to 6 funeral homes, and I said, no additional burials are to take place there. We're going to restrict access on the Cumslow roadside. There's an alternate access off of Overland Way that'll be used. We'll establish a parking pad there, and it's closer to the newer section. as you mentioned, there's lots of unmarked graves that are kind of back in the wooded area there. A number of those are sunk down and need dirt added to them. Our public works staff has been in there recently cleaning up some of that wooded area. And so I think, you know, to your point, it goes way back. There are a lot of unmarked graves in there, but more recently, it hasn't been, the burials that have taken place there haven't been, you know, quote unquote pauper burials or indigent burials. You know, there are elaborate plots there with headstones and elaborate granite markers that, you know, certainly is not the way that cemetery started out. And so I sent that letter to those funeral homes saying, you know, we're not going to continue burials there. You know, if the board opted to set us up as a cemetery operation, we could potentially sell plots there, but right now it's just been a piece of land that the county owns that people have been going and burying.
How long have you been in Jonestown?
I've been here 7 years.
How many years?
7 years.
Okay.
What I know.
And you want to start closing out something that has been going on all along. Okay, this land was you were given by Walter Pitt estate plan. Okay, this land was given as a burial. And I don't know who went in and buried without getting permission. But there's a whole area that my family is there. We've always got permission. My husband is there. You think about if your wife was buried somewhere and you couldn't go back in and get buried beside her. Okay, you think about the $700. I don't know of anybody coming in paying $700 to bury at State Place Cemetery. You need to.
Excuse me, go legal. Go ahead.
So they're not paying anything, it's an indigent cemetery.
Right.
The problem, I'll jump in legally because it's not been addressed at all, and this problem I see is county property. It's
You were given the county property
It
to
is,
bury.
so it is county property currently. So it's county property for indigent burials, but we've stopped having actual burials because we went to cremations because it was cheaper on the taxpayers. When someone was deemed indigent and could not afford a service, the county pays for them to be cremated for no more burials. So you run into an issue with the law that's called the gratuities clause, and I know it's not popular and doesn't make anybody happy, but for the county to provide land for citizens to just arbitrarily or just, I'm deciding I'm burying a loved one there, is a violation of the gratuities clause, because then we would have to pay for everyone to have a free burial site. Yes, ma'am, it's called the gratuities clause.
Coming up as whatever you call it. How long have you been in Johnstown?
My whole life. And actually, ma'am, my grandfather was a commissioner that sat right in this spot. I was born and raised here, so I'm a Jones County girl. So my grandparents are buried right here. Anybody that's passed in my family's here.
Are they closing that cemetery?
Well, we paid for their sites.
Okay, but let me ask you
Yes.
something. You saying cremation?
That's for indigent.
Everybody
This is indigent.
wants to be cremated.
I understand, we're not forcing anybody to be cremated. This is for indigent, it's an indigent cemetery that the county owns. And when the county is paying and using taxpayer dollars, it is beneficial. It's everybody's this here as a citizen. The county pays for cremation, not burials. And so that's been going on for well over 20 years.
Well, they don't have to pay for the people to be buried. The people are paying the funeral home for their burial.
Well, but that's the problem. The county's offering county property. The funeral homes are making money on it. The county's and they're utilizing county property for burials and not paying for that. That is a violation of the gratuities clause of the state of Georgia.
whatever you coming up saying, this is Jones County property.
That's right.
We pay property tax, we pay Jones County tax. You're not just Jones County paying for it. This, we haven't heard of them going in any black, white cemetery, trying to close it out.
It's not, gratuities
No,
has
no, no.
nothing to do with black or white, ma'am.
Yes,
It is a state law.
It is. And then he goes down to State Place Cemetery, where there's always been buried there. And then somebody was saying that somebody paid somebody some money. That's their problem. We don't pay money, we pay tax. And like I say, this is Jones County. We pay Jones County tax. That's county land. That land was given from Walter Pitts as a cemetery.
As an indigent cemetery. It's the
They don't
county's
put that
indigent
on
cemetery.
the cemetery. This is you saying.
The county has utilized that property and designated that property as an indigent cemetery.
Okay, the county did that.
That's right, and
Okay,
it doesn't
we
matter.
don't be checking further into this. And it won't be just what the county is saying, because this is wrong. This is wrong.
Mr. Bishop, you got a question?
I'm struggling, Chairman, because I understand their plight and understand it. Are you saying that people that can afford a burial plot somewhere should be able to bury there because it's county property?
No.
I don't have a free burial spot anywhere in Jones County. I've been here, I'm 5th generation Jones County. There's nowhere in Jones County except my church that I'm a member of that has a cemetery. So as a member, I have a spot there. But my family, I have to buy a burial plot. So I don't understand how we're saying this is a county property. Anybody can be buried there and not have to pay for it.
And it's not saying because you can't afford it. There is some people that cannot afford it.
And we're willing to pay for anybody that cannot be buried as an indigent care.
But we still gotta find out, we'd like to know why and how they can come in and just say, take some land that's dedicated as a cemetery, as State Place Cemetery, and come in after 2002 and start changing things.
You're not coming in and taking any property, it's county property.
We know it's county property. It's been county property. Like I say, ever since I've been here, I'm 80 years old, 82. And it's been county property.
That's right.
But we've always had
Has an obligation.
we've always had these burials there in the county property.
And
Until just a few people trying to change. And it will be fought. I have grave sites.
Here's a problem we got too that we came across. There's, how many graves were there?
There's 100
No, ma'am.
property unmarked graves.
Let me clarify this. We've been assessing this because we're having a meeting after this meeting about this to make sure we do everything right. But the problem we have is someone hadn't even buried in the cemetery. They're going out there on the landfill. We've got a whole new section of burials that aren't even in the cemetery. They're going out across the landfill that the EPA controls and holds our hand on.
Which is why monitoring is we have to get a hold of what's going on.
Every cemetery has to identify the plots, do surveys. We don't have that out there because if we did, we wouldn't have all these grave sites over on our landfill side that we have to get tested and all. And there's no rhyme or reason. I've had call after call after call. It's our will to do it right so that we can do this correctly and do it legally. And right now, we've got to talk about all the graves that are right now in our landfill That's a big no-no environmental. We got wells and stuff, I mean, they're really in our landfill. Unauthorized. Because nobody,
Y'all need to throw. As far as I know, when you bury, you have to call and get permission to bury and where you want to bury it.
And I think that's part of the problem. That's why we are where we are, because people are not doing that.
Nobody's doing it.
All the new burials out there, we didn't know, we go up and see new dirt, and somebody's burying them. And that's the letter that Jason sent on behalf of the board, was to the funeral homes to say, you don't get somebody to pay you $5,000 and you go out there and dig a hole and bury them and let their family come pay their last respects. We're saying it's gotta come through the county, because we're ending up with burial sites that are unauthorized outside of the realm of the cemetery and on illegal property on a landfill. So, when I heard somebody say, y'all need to control that, that's exactly what this letter was about. We've got to control it.
The citizen also should have been gotten there.
Well,
citizens should be, well, there's no citizens that can go out there and bury someone on their own. They should be going to a funeral home.
Yeah, but we need to be notified. We didn't get the letter, we got it by word. Okay, do you know of the people that buried there and buried on the landslide, on the land there?
We don't know who that is. We have no idea, because they didn't come to the county to get permission. They just went, and that was why it went to the funeral homes, because the funeral homes are the only ones that can bury. So when someone in the audience says, I'm gonna call for a family member to be buried, we can't afford, or need an indigent funeral, then the funeral home will be recognized from this county, that you can't just go out there and bury them where you think they should go. That's the problem. And so they would communicate with you guys. You guys don't come to us to bury anybody as a board, so that's why we didn't send a letter to the residents. You would go to a funeral home. And so that's why we notified all the funeral homes that you can't bury people without us knowing about it. That's the problem.
I had two people tell me that we bought a plot out there. From who?
Yeah.
What? From who?
Yeah, who
we bought a plot out there. We got to, our family's got multiple plots we bought out there. Who'd you buy it from? Because
we didn't buy a plot.
That's the story.
This county property, we've got to get control over it because it's just become a complete free-for-all. There are burials that are in landfill space. There are sales of plots that aren't legitimate sales. None of this county property is being sold, and it's being pretended as, put off on citizens as they can buy plots in there. So there's major problems.
That's why we're here, and this isn't the last meeting on this, because this board has to meet and do everything legally.
Chris,
And
I've got a question, right, that I want to get addressed for the people too. If the land was given for a cemetery, right? Under real estate law, life estate law, and anything that has to do with a covenant or restriction, if it's not used for that purpose, then it reverts back to the owner, right?
It's used for, it is a cemetery.
If the original intent, cemetery, black perspective means burial, doesn't mean cremation.
Right, but there are burials, there are people buried out there, so
But we're
we can't
stopping that. So
remove it.
I don't know when that changed, right? So I have to go,
Over 20 years ago.
right, so over 20 years ago, I don't know if that was a vote or if it was.
And we don't know nothing about it. 20 years don't know about
And I don't know when it was communicated, because obviously, for more than 20 years, people have still been buried. We got fresh burial plots. So there's a,
Yeah, but my husband buried that 10 years ago,
so there's a disconnect,
and we got permission.
right? And then, I know this doesn't exactly align with squatters' rights, but the squatters have been burying people for over 20 years
Right,
under
so we
squatter
can't,
law,
we
right?
can't dig them up.
Right.
But as far as continuing,
So,
that's the issue.
so I want to go back to, we need to find in the vote in a minute somewhere where it changed, because I didn't vote for that, I don't know who did, maybe.
The change was to start because of the cost of 20 years ago. I wasn't on the board or.
But I don't know, but you know some
Yes.
names that I don't know, you know that it got changed, I didn't know that.
to tonight. And so I want to know who by order of law made the change. If it contradicts the original intent of the gift of land, then it needs to revert back to the owner or revert back to the right way. Or this board needs to make a decision
Well, it's still
on,
being
hold on,
maintained as-
if this board makes a decision to allow it to be buried, then that's what we would choose to do. Because again, if there's no order of law, then we're going to hearsay, I don't know exactly. And that's the only way to clear it up. Other than, we've got to find some legal way of transitioning. If we don't want to own it and do the right thing by it, we have to transition it to an entity that will do it, to honor the intent of the land. I agree. I agree.
This is not a attempt to keep anybody from being laid down with a lawnmower, but we have to do it by the law, because right now, people haven't been following the law, and they haven't been just rivalries, and now we have a great deal of graves that are in a landfill. You want your family to I'm just saying, we've got new graves sitting in the landfill, and now the EPDs, we're having to notify them. We can't have graves in the landfill, so this board, we're gonna have several meetings on this, but we've got to do the legal way. You know, it still be laid down with your loved ones. But we gotta do it by the book, through the laws, every cemetery has to do it, has to have a survey, identify everyone the same. Come on.
It's a survey, the survey after, that we had surveyed on February 20, 2002. And at that time, it was still cemetery status, and it was active.
They didn't follow the survey, that's the problem. They just randomly started making their grades, and now we've got a dilemma that this board has to correct for y'all.
Ms. Gladys, is there any way that I can get that list that you've got there to make a photocopy and bring it right back to you? Because that might be more than what we've got.
Can you make a copy of it now?
And I'll bring it right to you. We'll go through and make it,
what you make a copy.
Real quick,
just to
Reverend,
see
you wanna say
the
something?
burial.
Yes, my name is Pastor Milton Green from the Master Baptist Church, 676 the Master Church Road. I really think what tonight is about is because of the finite of the letter that's saying it was definite, the depth of the letter. And it disturbed many people. And I think really the meeting tonight is to check the pulse of our commission. To check the pulse. To check to see is there still a real heartbeat beating. This is really what tonight is about.
Yeah.
And tonight is about, there's something, I went to government since 1982 to the program. I was privileged to hear many things and DAs and judges because I was in that program. The thing here is for us to know that there are something in the county that was, I guess, taboo, some things that will never come up around this earth. Simply because it's still there on this land. There are some things that will divide the county if you mess with it. And what's happening right now? It looks like it's messing with something because this is my cousin. Where's my mama go? I'm the mom Rudy. When my mother could no longer be with me and go with me, she appointed this lady, which is my cousin as well. And we just buried her husband there. I think what it's doing is actually allowing you to reach in and grab their heart and their feelings.
Yep.
And you got them in their hands. And they're upset because this is something that has been going on and going on and going on. And they didn't know all these things. And I think what they were saying, we know there's a problem. But to say for definitely that there's not going to be no more burials, that's what hurts. And it looks like, can I say what I really want to say? Yeah. It actually looks like that you're messing with the black community. I'm just going to tell you right here. When I go, we tried to do a ministers together, brotherhood, black and white, but then it got to a point, got to a head Because guess what? Those people who I talked to, I could never get them to participate because they was very weary of what politicians would do under them. So I really couldn't get it. So this is a good time for us to understand that there are some things, even if it's $700, oh, help me over here. If it's $700, even if it's $700, there are people who pay taxes that I know were there who pay taxes all their lives. And they'll just say, why not give something back? Would you rather hurt the county or help the county? And so it's checking your pulse to see whether your heart still beating. That's really what it's doing. Tonight,
Do what's right, but
yeah.
we have to do it within.
Check this out. I understand all this wrong that is done. Shouldn't be. I understand that. I understand somebody saying, okay, until we're going to look at it and we're going to make sure only certain people go until we can find out whatever, certain time of day, unlock it, whatever like that. I understand that. And to get it right, I understand that. But to be indefinite and say, well, it's $700, tell me it sounds like. It sounds like money.
There continues to be a reference to $700 and it's being construed in a way, in a light that's not accurate. So $700 is simply the agreement that the county has with the funeral homes, yes. But you've referenced now 3 times $700. That is the agreement that the county simply has with the funeral homes of what we pay when someone is indigent and cannot afford it for the person to be cremated. So that is the $700. It has nothing to do with any sort of anything else other than that is the fee that the county pays for indigent cremation.
What I'm saying is that is this. I didn't bring up the $700. You did. I'm saying the $700 that you would have to pay. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying when we mention money, because we just paid for the burial up there by First Baptist. We paid our brother, my nephew, and some other to be buried up there. It sounds like, I'm speaking, it sounds like, when I read the letter, it sounds like there was an attempt to say, okay, we're going to start charging to bury in the cemetery. But then at the end it says, I'm telling you, when my ears are closer to the community than you think. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that to say that you want to make it and to get it a certain way, but tell this woman that I can't bear about my husband, and he's been all these years, to tell her that is just, that's wrong.
I think there was some miscommunication. We didn't tell anybody that could be buried. All right, I'm gonna talk about it. We didn't tell anybody that couldn't be there. That's why the letter went to the funeral homes, not to the people to say you can't be buried there by your loved ones. We were telling the funeral homes, you don't take somebody's money and just go put them in the ground anywhere, because we got a problem now where we have people buried. Could be your loved ones or my loved ones buried in an EPA landfill that goes into our water system. That is illegal as it gets, and that's what we're trying to stop. We had nothing about sending something to the people to say we're not buried there.
That letter was supposed to send, they didn't send to one, I know, was supposed to send to the funeral home.
It was sent to the funeral homes. But somebody got a copy of the letter and
that's what I'm going to tell you.
On Facebook. That's the way of our world.
It should have been put in the dog that news that we're going to be on the cemetery. That's what it should have been. Because if you didn't do that, now you got all these angry people. They made
Can't bury there without going to a funeral home. So it was sent to the funeral homes because they're the ones that are illegally.
What you saying?
What we have to do right now, we're getting ready to wrap this up. Everybody, please listen. We're going to have an extensive work session with us, but after this meeting, we have to get somebody to go out there and identify every grave there. We've got to get a current survey. So when somebody is buried there, we know exactly where their grave is supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. That's what this board has to do, but we can't have them going out across the landfill, and next thing we know, we get these graves. That's what we're trying to do. So there will be, I promise you, there will be so that everybody knows, there will be a work session where we can let you know exactly where we're at, what we're having to have done, so that each and every one of y'all know that we're doing things legally.
Can you assure them that you're not gonna close it right now because
Not close, you can come, I mean, you don't.
They told me that,
Well, there's no burials right now.
nobody else got buried.
It's a padlock on it.
Yeah. People, we know you want to go visit.
They've already taken the gate from the other side where the thing is, and they've taken that gate. I took a picture of it today.
There are gates on both sides of the road.
No, they dropped the gate and put it around where they got the state flag cemetery. This gate was over near the dump.
Yeah, there's a gate on both roadways.
No. Okay, suppose that, you wanna go in.
There's a parking spot, there's
There's
a
a big
parking and
change.
you walk right around it.
you can't walk that far.
There's a big change on that gate.
It's not handicapped.
You can't take 35 pounds to the, walk 35 pounds.
I promise each and every one of you, we're gonna have an extensive work session. But we have to sit down there and do everything by the book, so that this can continue on. But right now, we've gotta get with EPD, because this is a good chance, we're going to move a lot of graves. Because they weren't done right. And if that's the case, we're going to notify every single person that says, your loved one is getting ready to get located. We're going to have a survey, so that we can identify every single grave there, whether it's from the 1800s, because they have got no penetrating radar that they go in. I've already researched this, that they go in and they can come in and they will plot every single grave in that cemetery. We have to have a surveyor to come in to literally, you say there's a survey. It hasn't been followed, because if it was, we wouldn't have this problem. So we have to get everything on board, done correctly, and go from there.
Okay, back on one side, right about on the side of the toes, where the toes are buried, they're over there, they are partially slaves, their families are gone, we don't know who is there or what is there. So how are you going to get, there's rocks in some of the areas, but how are you going to get those?
That company comes in and they actually have a GPS ground penetrating unit. I saw one today that was for our water filtration system. They got one that they literally can GPS every single grave that's out there right now, whether we know who's there or not. And then we have to get a survey, just like I said. Now, we're going to have to continue on. We'll have a work session. Y'all be assured that we're doing everything possible that this cemetery is done correctly. Because, you know, y'all got loved ones that.
What somebody passed away, you want to know everybody What they come to the board?
Right.
What they come to the
The
board?
funeral homes need to come to us so that we can do that, not just go out there and bury them somewhere. That's
But
the
they still
problem.
can live. They still can live.
And we have committees involved in this process.
Okay, but what the minimum, I passed away, they have a husband.
They've got to be deemed indigent,
Unless they can't afford it.
Absolutely no family whatsoever, no loved one, no nothing. Over 40, county paid. Just a couple times a year.
Well, I'm saying, what if somebody passed away, they can't pay for themselves, there's a spot that they can't. That's the problem, they're saying, if I pass tomorrow, I can't be buried by my husband, because that's the problem.
Right, and it's a big problem for everybody, but we've got to do it right, and we're going to have to see.
So I gotta wait so late.
I understand. to kind of allow them. Even if they get you, that's good, what you're trying to force them back to it. When they come back to the board, trying to do but if they can't afford it, they're not gonna allow them to do it.
I think we're just trying to get everything back to the board so we can get a grip on what we got. We got a problem.
All right, people, stop talking. Let them talk at once.
Stop being
Please, each and every one of you, sir, there will be a work session just on this. If it takes 2-3 hours, we're gonna have it. We're gonna bring back to you our solution, how to fix this, how to get the surveys corrected, so nobody's going out on the landfill anymore. We're gonna have to get with EPD to see what we have to do. Do we have to move these? And so we gotta contact all the family members, so your loved one's got to be moved. So we got the survey.
But the right now is the issue. So somebody dies right now.
That's what for. He said that, it's different what she said.
But here, he said if somebody dies right now, we need to have a funeralization out there, come to this board so we can make arrangements. All right? Thank you.
That's what she wants. That's what she said right there. Okay. Y'all heard that.
I promise you, we will fix this. But it's not gonna happen tonight. This is what we're doing. We got to fix the problem.
So we do with that part. Okay.
All right. Thank y'all. We will let you know. We can go on. Mr. Risner. New business, request for refund of penalty on late property taxes.
So there's a resolution that's been drafted, calling for the referendum on package sales of alcohol that would be on the November 4th ballot. Mr. Risner submitted this to me. I have reviewed it and approved it. Appears ought to be in order and appropriate, if that's what you all wish to move forward and put on our ballot.
Are we included in this conversation, or y'all
Citizen comment.
I can't hear them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, citizen comments, you get opportunity.
Okay, I just couldn't hear them.
Your citizen comments.
There's been a motion to approve the resolution calling for referendum of package sales.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion?
Sorry.
If not, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Are you ready for number one, Mr. Jason, the request for refund of penalty on late property taxes?
Yes, sir. So this happens very rarely, but we've got a request here from an individual that owns a piece of property. He was late on his taxes. The amount of the penalties was about $560. He paid his taxes in August, and he has written a letter requesting a refund of those penalties. The property is 955 Haley Street, and he's got a letter there in your packet that kind of explains his reasons for it. He talks about his history of paying the property taxes on time. Really, he's only owned it for a little over a year, and so we don't really have a record to verify that he has or has not paid property taxes on time. And so the refund, the penalty amount was $579.65, and so he's asking that the board refund that amount to him.
What was the reason for it? Just
Yeah, he says he was out of the country for a piece of it.
Well, we there with Commissioner Kitchens. He was out of the country, he's taking care of his dad.
He said that I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was a big thing, because that, he was out of the country, taking care of his sick father in India.
And then it went to the wrong address.
He went to San Francisco, yeah.
They fill out some documentation when they purchase property stating what the mailing address should be. The property tax bill was sent to the address that he provided. And so,
And the closing attorney always advises you that when the taxes are due, you still come to the bank for the tax.
Exactly.
Period. Motion to deny.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Okay, order of election changes. Brody?
Yeah, so you all asked me to check on the Board of Elections. Under state law, it has to be at least a board member of 3 or greater. We have the bare minimum, we have 3. I think you all have some interest in expanding that to 5, which generally would be 2 from each party and then a chairperson that's just a general member of the county. We need to drop a bill, honestly, to amend the board. There's no other way to do that. If you want to do that, I can start working on that and expand that board. Next, regarding the chairperson currently, there have been, this board has term limits. What they are, I have not been able to figure that out because the board's not been meeting and not been taking minutes. So,
If you get paid.
So, I cannot tell you the term limits as far as when the current chairperson, our superintendent, when her term would expire. I believe she's expressed an interest to come off of that board, but I can't tell you when it would expire for you all to reappoint that position. And so she certainly can go ahead and resign from the board, and that would allow you all to reappoint a 3rd person as chairperson to the board until we can expand to a 5-member board. But until I can try to figure out when their term limits are, which is going to be very difficult with no minutes and no meetings. Even, but what about, she's the chairperson? Is she
I
the
can
additional?
try to submit arguments with her, for her to like that.
Okay, we need to determine term limits because going forward, this board needs to be run efficiently.
Actually, I would make the recommendation that we look at our neighbors, right, for best practices, Bibb County.
They have a 5-member board.
I'm talking about for term limits and timing of
So
when
it's
they
a
start.
4-year term limit. And so right now, I don't know when any of the 3's term
But
limits
that's what I meant, like
expire.
if Bibb County expires this year, they probably go with the calendar year of the commissioners, and that will probably flow. If they're in between with the governor, then let's adopt something like that.
And we can clarify that too when we drop the new deal as far as, and there also needs to be, if language that, if for some reason one of the 2 parties doesn't appoint, then to the 2 designated slots for each party, then the board as a whole can appoint a 2nd person to take that, so you don't have an empty seat.
Well, if it fills the party line seat, actually, that would be.
So I need a motion to, authorize you to draft the bill.
That's fine. And then I'm telling you all, if,
All of these members have already exceeded their
yeah, that's just.
So worst case scenario, we can't find a term limits, how do we start creating?
So, well, I know it's not been in the last 4 years that because the current board members have been on for at least 4 years. I mean, that's as long as I've been around, y'all haven't.
So a little bit of history, that we all know, being realistic, that nobody was beating down the door to be on these boards. So they kept being on the board because they were the only ones that would do it, and the board just kept saying, okay, appoint them back. At one point, there was only one registered party in Jones County. So to find another member of another party that didn't exist, registered party, that was almost impossible too. So
Which is a little bit of a concern going from 3 to 5.
Right.
We already have had a difficult time.
Yeah, that's gonna be an issue
Which is
when,
why I say the board needs to have a backup of where you all can appoint if you need to fill the slots.
I don't disagree. Again, I'm just gonna go with party affiliation because we can look at voter registration and say, oh, Democrat, Republican. And for the 2 seats, so we fall within the law, we identify those. And I'm okay with that, you know, because if the party doesn't register that year, somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, then you have one registered party, but we still know this county votes Democrat or Republican. So as long as we agree that we're going to appoint along the party lines, then I'm good.
Right.
I agree with you.
And if Marion no longer wants to sit on the board, she can certainly resign now. It would be the easiest way for that to occur because until at least we can try to figure out her term limit, and then the board can go ahead and reappoint for that chairperson position.
In a conversation with her, said that that would be best for the Board of Elections for her not to be included in the
Yes,
board.
yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
but that also leads us back to, I don't know that we have anybody waiting in the wings that's willing to jump up on that position. Well, I'd love for them to sign a line and say, come on.
There's ways to serve.
Right, we need to put that, put that out there, that we are.
We need help. Okay, so motion to,
Yeah, but she needs to resign, not reappoint.
So
we have a second? Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. G-Dot intersection proposal, Mr. Whitten.
Mr. Chairman, we've received an email from GDOT proposing an R-cut intersection at the Graham Road and Homer Roberts intersection and State Route 11. So they provided some background on crashes there, and they stated in the email that they won't proceed with that type of intersection unless the board provides its blessing. And so they were asking this board for that blessing. I indicated to them that I would bring it before you and get back to them with your thoughts. And so this type of intersection, it's reduced conflict U-turn is what it is. It's basically, if you're familiar with the intersection on Fall Line Freeway with Henderson Road there. And so you.
To me, it's more dangerous than the current situation. That's just me.
Agree.
You know, roundabout work,
I don't think that Highway 57 there has as much traffic as we do right there on Graham.
It's, I don't see it, I see it being, more of a hazard, worse than what we already got.
R-Cut is not the facility for that great highway, Homer Roberts, Grand Road intersection.
And neither is a roundabout. I mean, a roundabout on 65 mile an hour right road.
Traffic light,
Yeah, but they're not going to agree to a traffic light because they don't say the traffic counts there. But we also have to think about coming from Gray to Macon, when you top that hill there, and I've talked to some traffic folks in another line of work, state traffic folks that talk about it. It's one thing to have an 18-wheeler that comes over the top of the hill at 65, 70 miles an hour, lights red. That's fine, there's enough room for him to stop. But if you've got another 18-wheeler or 3 cars stopped at a red light, there's not enough room for an 18-wheeler loaded to stop before you get to the traffic. I got real concerns. I would not support that, Chairman, at all. I think, from the best we can tell with these traffic incidents, most of them are from people that pull out in front of somebody or not seeing the traffic well enough. My recommendation was that we put bigger stop signs on either side with flashing so people know the stop sign is there. I don't know that there's anything that we can do with that intersection that won't cause more problems in the gap.
I got a question. I'm not a fan of this right turn only, right, and forces you to go down the road to make the U-turn. I'm not a fan because I like to cross my intersections and go, But up north, that is one of those solutions where we, especially New York, New Jersey, yeah, we force you into that direction. I don't want the U-turn thing, because I think that's kind of weird too, but, I see a lot of people make that turn. Sometimes it is a little scary. You know, I'm gonna say it's a Jones County thing. You know, sometimes we ease on out in the traffic because we feel like it and we expect everybody to stop. But that's a hard place for people to stop. You know, I popped that door and I jammed on the brakes because somebody decided they're gonna pull out with a trailer and they saw my headlights, like, what in the world?
Yeah, we stopped on the buses from going from Homer Roberts across it there, and they can go all the way up to Popeyes and turn on to Brandon's way up the line.
There are cuts. You're going across 2 lanes to slow down and make a U-turn into oncoming traffic instead of runs down there.
I've seen also to have the yellow flashing light proceeding into a congested area that reminds people to slow down when they're coming up on it. And I think coming from either direction, that could be a bonus too right there. Is just the flashing congested area, slower speed. Like after you come over Sand Creek Trail and then when you hit the bottom down at Porter's Landing coming that way. That might be also a suggestion for this Gray Highway traffic, not only the stop traffic at Graham and Homer Roberts.
Chairman, I'd also recommend that we get the professionals' input that does this stuff for a living, and we draft a response that might include some kind of flashing lights coming down and up and down Gray Highway, and then the lights on our, because all we can control is the arterial road traffic.
Right.
We put signs on it.
You have flashing lights ahead of Joy Cliff Road, you still have a traffic light there also, and you still have many access to Joy Cliff Road, so I, you know, don't take more and bigger stop signs to safely control that intersection. Personally, I do like the roundabout, it works well north of Gray, there's been bad wrecks there. And we tried bigger stop signs, we tried this and tried that, and ultimately, they came in, they put in a roundabout, it's slowed down the accidents. You still have some people take it fast, but there are approaching caution lights before that roundabout.
So, just out of curiosity, popping that hill with the roundabout, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, before you enter that curve coming from south on 129, you enter that right-hand curve, you have flashing lights. You have signs on both sides of the road. Roundabout ahead. So it notifies you. Start slowing down. Drop the gear if you're in transmission. Start slowing down. What works?
For this, we need a motion to deny the proposal.
Motion to deny the proposal, Chairman.
Second.
Second, any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye? Aye. All right, Mr. Ridley, you want to table the logo till next meeting?
Yes, sir.
After we get input from our employees?
Yes, sir.
All right, department heads. Mr. Jackson, you got anything tonight? Oh, excuse me, motion to table.
Second, I make a motion to table the logo.
Second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you for keeping me straight. All right. Yeah, me too. Mr. Jackson, you got anything else tonight? On through the department head, you the very back.
Yes, sir, I can share. Would you like me to come up to the front?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Petrowski, I saw you shaking your head, so that's good.
Well, I ducked my head and.
We call you anybody.
Just a quick recap of our last quarter and things going on right now. The 4-H program has 20 to 25 students going to our district public speaking contest coming up this month and next month, so we're excited about that. Our camp promotion's about to start for them, and they're going to Rockyville this year, so that'll be, or at least the younger kids will, so that'll be a fun experience. I just completed our recreation department turf management training with our recreation department, so they have to finish their tests and turn in, and I get to grade them, and so I'm what stands between them and finishing it, so I hope they do well. But other than that, I just received notice this week that I am just basically I'm waiting on the university president to sign off on my promotion that I put in for in July. So that'll just increase my rank in the university system. So that's been pretty fun. That was a 150-page dossier that I produced for them, so I'm excited about that. That's all I have.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, absolutely.
Good job on that hard work.
Mr. Risner, I think you're next. Did I miss one? Tiffany, you hiding back there?
Yep, she is.
Hey, you hiding from me.
I'm good to
I
go.
saw you, but, you got anything?
I got one good bit of news. Aside from the abandoned dilapidated properties.
Get to the line, because we'll hear about it, people watching
Gotcha.
online.
Just want to give you some updates. We've been still going, getting strong with abandoned dilapidated properties, going after the property owners and holding them responsible. The county did take 2 properties down last year, towards the end of the year, but we have already had one of those landowners come back and hand me a $14,000 check to pay for it, so the lien would not be placed on the property. So it's still rocking good, but we don't get too many checks coming back in like that, so.
How many properties do we have on the list right now?
As far as requesting for demo orders, I've had 2 going right now.
Right, or blight?
As far as that, I can get you that number, I don't have it right now.
I'm glad to hear because I got a couple calls about the property at the top of Kendrick Circle and Cole that burned for months. And they were curious if anything's gonna get done with that.
Send me the address and I'll jump right on it.
I've got an address to send to y'all.
Thank you.
If there's any other property.
You don't have any?
Mr. Risner? You're good. Citizen comments. Who'd like to start? Ladies, let's do ladies first. How about that? All the ladies can go first, then.
Y'all been sitting too long. I know you got a stretch break.
My name is Judy Gordy. I live at 123 Liberty Ridge Drive in Gray, Georgia. And I was with the cemetery situation. I buried my husband almost close to 14 years ago. Last August, I got a call from the state of Georgia, whoever took over Cedar Ridge. And I had to, not only I know there was a lot said about $700. They got all busy because I had to pay $1,400 up at Cedar Ridge, you know. But the whole point I'm making, I've got a husband and a brother and some other family members that's buried up there. We had to prove that thing, that machine you're talking about, they had already gone out there and they knew exactly who was what and where. Had I not had a marker on those graves, they would have had to been moved. I had to prove that I could purposely pay for that. I had to dig through it. And that was a whole other emotional thing, like burying him all over again. So while my heart goes out to these people, I really understand it. It's not a black or white thing. It's an issue that needs to be addressed, which we're going to do. But I thought my information might help you better understand it. There is an office. We all know what happened with Cedar Ridge. There's been a commission or something that contacted me from Atlanta. Said on, and I don't know who they are. I don't remember. I didn't care to keep the information because once I handled it, to me, it was over with. But there is someone in Atlanta that oversees all these things. And you're absolutely right. It has to be done. Otherwise, the county will be liable. So that's all I had to say. Just want to give some information.
Thank you. Anybody else with citizen comments? Ladies first. Ms. Whipple, come on.
Good evening, Board. As you all know, I've been coming back and forth up here for a while now, addressing my concerns on Mountain Springs Road. I did go to the Jones County Public Works website, and I saw probably about 15 pages of roads that the county was going to address and show some attention to. But I noticed out of the 15 pages that Mountain Springs Road was not on that list. And I am here tonight because I don't want you all to think that I am the only citizen on Mountain Spring Road that wants something done to that road, something more stable, something more permanent, like paving. And my concern is I don't see how Mountain Springs Road could not have made that list if Pitts Chapel Road is on the list. Grizzleville Shortcut is on the list. Grizzleville Road is on the list. And Mountain Springs Road connects to all of those roads. So I don't know what made those roads more worse than Mountain Springs Road, but I think Mountain Springs Road is one of the worst roads it is to ride in on Jones County. And it's a safety hazard. The motor graders have been brought down there, different things like that. But before I started coming to the meetings, hardly nothing was done to that road. We moved up to motor graders, but that's not even getting to the core of that. It's like when it rains, we just have to keep our fingers crossed that we get enough hard rain to wash all the mud off. And if somebody gets sick down there and it's an emergency, those roads could hinder somebody from getting the proper medical attention that they need in a timely manner. They may be able to get in, but they may not be able to get out. I'm not the only one that's concerned about it. If you live on Mountain Spring Road this evening and you're here, could you please stand or either wave your hand or just let them know you're here, please? Because it's not just me, it's them also. And we just want to know why our road didn't make the list. I mean, we pay taxes just as well as the other residents on the other roads around us just as well. Been doing it for years. My family has resided on Mountain Spring Road and paid taxes, what, for over 80 years or more?
Over 80 years, 5 generations of the Ross family have lived on that road.
And it's not just us, we got the Temples, we got other families down there. We are concerned, I mean, we don't want to be treated like second-class citizens. We want our roads paid attention to also. If you all could, please rethink that road list and seriously consider adding Mountain Springs Road to that list. And we are in the process of getting the petition together. We are doing that. But would you all please do that? Because we get tired of riding over potholes. When they come and lay the crush and run, they lay it on top of ripples in the road. When they scrape the road, that may last 2 or 3 days, but I mean, it goes back to square one, and we would like better. Thank you.
I did ask them to verify the petition because they did turn it in back in the end of November, beginning of December, and I wasn't sure what percentage we were. Do y'all have that?
We're still working on it.
They haven't turned it in.
Because I thought they did turn something in.
But it wasn't, they didn't have enough.
So they had, I think there were 12 properties represented on the list, and we had to get to 48 to have the 75%.
I just wanted to make sure I knew where we were.
And
48 properties, get to 75.
a comment about the roads, the names that were on those roads. The only roads that are on that list are paved roads. No dirt roads are listed on there at all. I live on Browns Junction. You won't find it on there. You won't find Pioneer. So none of the roads that are just paved, dirt roads are on that list.
But I would think a dirt road would need more
Yes.
attention than a paved road would.
But that's not what they did. They looked at all the paved roads.
Yeah, I know it's not what they did.
Yes.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Kayla Markham. I live at 446 Mountain Springs Road. And I wanted to make a comment about the safety on that road as well. We had a fire on our road last year. The back part of our property caught fire. And even though like the fire department responded as quickly as possible, it took them a long time to get the fire engine down that dirt road. It is really dangerous. Not to mention, when they do re-gravel it, when it's supposed to be kind of at its best, right after they've just laid down a fresh layer of gravel, the dust is so impossible to see through that on its own is a massive safety hazard. You can't see deer running across the road. You can't see other cars coming your way, even if they have their headlights on, because the dust from the re-graveling gets so thick. And also, when it does rain, there have been multiple times that even driving slower than the speed limit, like it's extremely slower than the speed limit down that road, if it's wet and your tire catches right, it can pull the wheel in your hands. It's scary to drive down it when it's wet and right after that gravel has been laid. So it's a major safety concern, and it's something that I would also really, really like to see fixed because, yeah, I also have major concerns about it. So.
All right, thank you. I had another young lady in the back.
Hello.
My name is Brenda Middlebrooks. I live on 133 Slocum Road, out from Hummercourt Road, the main highway. Okay, I've been having problems. I've been calling and complaining about this problem for a minute now. When it rains real hard, the rain coming off of Hummercourt Road. I live behind Hummercourt Road. I'm getting all the rain down in my yard. It's made by 3 gutters in my yard. Where the ditches they kind of ain't cleaned those ditches out for a long, long time. And all the water is coming from Hummercourt Road back to in my yard and just making gutters everywhere. Coming from one side to the other. And I've been calling them about that. And they haven't did nothing yet. The ditches need to be cleaned out on that. The kind ditches, they need to be cleaned. They really do.
We got this resident, we were sitting there in the morning, our public works director's been out sick for a couple of days, but, we definitely get somebody out there. If we can get your phone number, so we can contact you, let you know we've been out there.
Okay.
I'm big about, communication is a must, so we can get your phone number.
See, it's coming from the ditches on the main road. The milk in the center, you don't have no ditch. It's just the dirt just washed out and everything running back behind and on in my yard.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I've been out to look at this, and she is correct. The dishes are silted up. There's places where you've got 18 or 20 inch culvert and maybe too much at the top, flowable area. So it's essentially they need a smooth bucket on broker track machine, clean these dishes, get the water controlled up.
Thank you. Thank you.
So make sure we get your number. I got one lady here first, and then you're next.
Hello, board. I'm Lisa Walker. I live at 606 Stallings Road. And it was brought up at your last meeting that Stallings Road, the need for it to be paved as well. I'm here and I've got other residents of Stallings Road. We are going to get, I understand now that we need to get the petition signed.
Right.
But we have had the buses that have had to be pulled out because they've gotten stuck on Stallings Road before. And basically what I've got here is that the residents of Stallings Road request that, if the road gets to be paved on Stallings Road, the condition of the road continues to require several trips a month to be scraped and for the gravel to be reworked so that it can travel to work, school, and other activities. These poor conditions make it difficult for the school buses to complete their routes for our children. We're going to get this petition signed so that, and how many signatures, if you don't mind me asking, does it take?
75%.
75%, okay. And it was said that someone has been out to speak with the residents of Stallings Road. That was something that I had been told. Okay, well, that was a misunderstanding. I apologize. Okay.
If you want to get your list up,
okay.
That's a big thing. We've got some new roads right now on the list.
Right.
We don't have to require signatures.
Right.
As surprising as it is, you can believe people that live on some of these roads that don't.
And yeah, so far I've spoken to most of the residents and I haven't found anyone but I'll get the signatures to support that. I have other residents here.
I'm Melanie Howell and I support it. I do have a couple of questions though. I know that ain't. Okay.
We got this lady, and we're trying to, like I said, with this Stallings Road, I think we need the signatures.
That's fine.
I got a young lady that's waiting patiently right back here. Is she ready?
She's been here since earlier tonight too.
Good evening. My name is Dory Facone, and I live at 123 Ross Circle. I live down on the Mountain Springs Road. I'm 75 years old, and I've lived down there 75 years, so I've seen the road go and come. Lately, the road has, well, not lately, all the time. It's just been, that road is awful. I've named that the forgotten part of Jones County down there because
police, whatever. It just goes on down there, and a lot of people may not want that road paved. But it's just all down there with the four-wheelers and the trucks with the big wheels on them. The road is already dangerous as it is. But we have to put up with that. Some of us down there go to work, and the buses come down in there. Really, when you meet a car, there's nowhere to get out the road at. You get over there praying that you don't get stuck. And you can make it home safe. As for myself, I would just like to see the roads attended to more than it is. Do a better job. They come down there and put rocks on the road, and I laugh at it because I said they put a pocket of rocks. They have a handful of rocks in each pocket, and they take them and they throw here and they throw there, and that's it. And then we got one man that scrapes the road. I think he brought his own rocks with him. Rocks this big in the road. I have took a bucket and drove up and down that road and picked those rocks up out that road after they get through stripping. As for myself, I'm asking just to be able to go and come, and if 3 buses come down in there, that's dangerous for them buses.
The road be paved.
Thank y'all.
All right, we got.
Okay. I'm Melanie Howell, and I live at 868 Stallings Road. And I'm going to say pretty much what she said, because not only do we live on the dirt road, and it's hazardous. I mean, John does a good job, or whoever works out there, but they're constantly out there. Always. We know when it rains, whatever he's done, it's going to be washed away. It's going to be another mud puddle. Some days, there's a part of the road up by Lisa, it will just go totally underwater when there's a heavy rain. You can't get through there till that water dries up, or you take another route side. We have a bridge, we have an area where there's a little creek running, and John's familiar with this because I talked with him. But for the longest, there was no precaution that you were coming up on the creek. The whatever was those little orange metal things you put up, there weren't any of those there, so you had to go put those up. Two vehicles could not cross at the same time. Somebody was going in that creek. I have been almost run off the road there. There's several places on Stallings like that. And the ditches do, at my house there, I try to keep it as the best we can, but there was a culvert, it goes under. The water's still stagnated in the ditch because the culvert's got to be cleaned out in there to get it to run. But our road does, I mean, we need it paved. I mean, I've lived out there 15 years. And they're constantly coming out there and trying to work it. But every time we have a rain, it does it again. And we are going to work on a petition.
Yes.
We need to know, how many signatures. And I also want to know how far or how much road frontage, like from the center.
Until we get a survey, we wouldn't know.
You don't know?
That's the biggest thing. Sometimes you take more of one person and little of the other.
Okay.
Then there's an issue there too that
And I'm at that intersection.
Sure.
So I catch it all. And as far as what she said about the four-wheelers, and nothing but playground. It doesn't rain, the four-wheelers, and my children probably were guilty of it back today, I don't know, that's what kids do. But it needs to be enforced, because there's been some accidents out there. One little kid lost his arm. This was like a 2 or 3-year-old. It was in a curve. And, I don't know if it was, but anyway, it does need attention. If, everybody wants the road paved, and I understand that. And I'm a country girl, and I like a dirt road. But it does not, it's not real hazardous.
we get your petition, we've got Stallings, we've got Mountain Springs. One more, and we'll go to the gentleman's side. Try to give everybody opportunity. This is a public meeting.
Right. Okay, I'm Beth Williams, 4106 Upper Road, support. And I just have 2 really quick things. First, Highway 18 and Gray Highway, right, and Ranchers. We're all coming together right there. When you turn on to Highway 18 from Gray Highway at night, it is one of the most dangerous things I've ever experienced. And it's dark. We need a light. I don't know how hard this is. I mean, I know we've been asking for, ever since we had it, for like, I would venture to say, I almost get hit there every other week. And it's just experience driving that keeps me from getting hit. That's it. That's the only thing that keeps me from getting hit. If this was a teenager learning to drive, an elderly person, or anyone with some kind of vision problem, stigmatism, you are screwed. I mean, to put it the nicest way I know to put it. I know there have been already several wrecks there. But I don't know, I don't have percentages, I haven't researched it, but it's terrifying. And I have foster children that are learning to drive. I am terrified for them. Especially when they get 16, 17, they're driving on their own. My 3 children, they came at the end, like they're raised and gone, but they were at the end of the, before all that came, you know, I wasn't as concerned. But this is terrifying. And, you know, we have school buses going through there. We have lots of reasons to have a light at night. And not that school buses necessarily go at night, but we even need more than that. That should have been a roundabout. That never, ever should have been approved how it was. And now we have ranchers, and traffic is picking up. It is picking up seriously. And we not only are we having nighttime traffic, we've got it all day long now. And ranchers, that area is not getting smaller. I see them with building plans here all the time. So, you know, it's growing, and that's great. I'm not opposed to that at all. But safety is important. Lives are important. And whatever it is we got to do to improve that, we need to do it. And so just whatever you do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't.
And Chairman and I met out there, a month ago? And we reached out to DOT about it then. Jessica, can we push another letter to them and just reiterate our concerns?
We have a letter that went over a year ago.
Yeah, and then we took up another one 2 months ago. And I don't know how to push it any faster. Both of them are state highways.
I mean, I just don't know how many people have to get killed. You know, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. Are we there? I mean, I hate that. Yeah.
They're state highways.
One is too many.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One is too
that's
many.
too much.
Like, one is too many, and these are lifelong injuries in a car accident. It's not something you get over quickly. And that's what I got.
Both of
Thank
them are
you.
state highways.
We had some gentlemen tonight want to speak. Citizen comments?
I got a comment about the cemetery.
Sure.
My name is Christopher Byron, 1250 Gerald Plantation Road, Juliet, Georgia. The county have a map of the cemetery. If the cemetery get full where they bury them at now, got land close to over the way. You have to go find it. It's here, somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping that in her notebook, I didn't know if she had that map of where they're buried at.
There's got to be something that they're not using, Chris.
They used to have someone down there to, lay it out. It's when county paid for the clerk for the county. 2015, he lost his job, Fred Bell, we tell who was. Fred Bell would go out there and tell where to be put it. The original road came from over the way. They said there was too much traffic coming on over the way. That's why they blocked that other end off. Why they put them new houses at. If that hard where they putting people now, get filled, you go back up in that corner, that's where they laying at.
We'll have a work session on that. Like I said, and I want you to get as many notes as you can for us, because we're going, after this meeting, we've got to discuss the work session and whatnot. So we got a chore in front of us.
It's gonna take somebody like you that has been there, seen it with your eyes and nose, because none of us sitting right here know.
All the commissioners did. So
Yeah.
Larry would know. Goes back to Larry Child.
But the problem we got is,
He would know.
we've got to get everything back on the cemetery, not in the landfill. That's our biggest hurdle right now.
When you saw them outside, people's, funeral home coming to grave, and not, how I want to put it, not have somebody over there keep it organized.
Right.
So I told the new superintendent, we was getting too far out with that dirt. I said, that dirt's coming too far. When this lady name, that died, I know I got a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna work on this, I promise you. It takes a couple hour work session, we're gonna fix it.
The lady got killed on 57. She called up here, told the kid.
Dorothy and Mia.
Oh, yeah, that's her. Called up here, wanted some work done. So the county went over there and did some work. So we never had nobody go over there. I go over there during the summer when I'm cutting grass. DJ used to go over there and cut. Well, you know how long he been gone. But you got to have somebody.
The funeral homes are not gonna do it.
No, they're not gonna do it.
That's what we got to fix, this board's got to fix, with, you know.
The name of the thing is, people really got mad about that padlock. It took 15, I've been down 11 years. It took them about 2 hours to put that padlock on it. It come from you.
Yes, sir. Sure did.
They can still walk in there,
You walk in there with a wheelchair?
but there has to be some way to stop unauthorized
I understand.
burials.
I understand. We're gonna work on it.
I promise you.
I know.
If it takes a couple hour work session, we're gonna fix it. This board has to have a meeting and do all the legal avenues to make sure it's done correctly. And that's the biggest issue, we got to do it correctly. So we don't have this problem anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And, things don't, I promise you. And I'm trying to, we've been here a long time.
I know. I'm sorry about that.
And again, I'm trying to give everybody out ample time, but we still got a work session here tonight, executive session.
Yeah, I understand, but I didn't mean to stay up here so long. But, anything you do, you gotta be organized.
Yes.
I'm thank you for your time.
Citizen comment, I had this gentleman, I need to start cutting it back, we got
1 minute.
one minute. And I'm trying my best to give everybody an opportunity.
Can I give you some pictures to look at while I'm talking? Give a little background on what my name's Ken Adams. I live at 430 East Virginia Lane. We had a problem with shipping containers in the yard. They were denied to leave them there. By whatever means, they got another meeting and Creek made sure that they got passed.
Let's stop, if you can do, if you can keep names out and just, board members, anything, you just do the best not to, I'm not trying to call names. You call me anything you want. I can't allow people to start making accusations.
Well, it's not accusations, but
No.
anyway,
Okay.
it's okay.
Okay, I'm just trying to do, it's a hard job I got, but I gotta make sure I keep it,
I'll just address the, it was against the lady that owns the property, Cherie Clanton. Cherie Clanton has never showed up anything. The person that showed up every time was Amanda Williams. And would give Cherie Clanton's name every time, and she was allowed to do that. On the site, they showed the house, 2 shipping containers. That's false. There's 4 more buildings on this property, which are in the pictures. I guess it just bothers me, all the lies that were allowed to go on and nobody questioned them. And, when she was denied the first time, the night before, their court appearance for the court to tell them when they had to be moved. I don't know how it happened, but they got a closed door meeting to vote to allow them to try for another variance. And I don't talk about or name were involved in all of this. I would just like to know how that closed door meeting come about. How many of those happen in a year? How many closed door meetings go on in a year?
I think you talk about this, and, you can chime in.
Yeah, let me see the picture. I would, maybe it's, I don't know if it's Tim or maybe Ms. Arlene from that board can give us some background on it. I don't know what they're talking about, I mean, other than what they told me. I'm not sure how, because that wouldn't have something that would have come to us, and it went to the appeal board, but there's some, I guess, accusations being made, and some clarity on it, if it's not you or it's for them or something.
I can just give you a brief synopsis of what happened. I'm not aware of a closed door meeting that happened. The applicant was denied the request for the shipping containers by the appeal board. Pursuant to the regulations, the applicant submitted a request for rehearing, similar to the rehearings that this board hears. That was held in an open meeting. The board discussed the request for rehearing and did grant that request. That held off on the court case that was going forward. The judge wanted to wait and see what the final decision of the appeals board was. The subsequent hearing, the appeals board did grant approval of that request. And because, because this was a variance, that is the final action. That does not come to this board.
Do we know if additional information came out between the first denial and then the approval?
The applicant did submit additional information in the letter that she submitted requesting a rehearing. The board used that information in making their determination whether or not to grant a rehearing.
I see you
smiling, so I can have shipping containers in my neighborhood as long as that board approves it, even though it's not in violation of the ordinance?
Correct.
I'm gonna have 4 shipping containers in my neighborhood, and anybody else, we guys live, I'm gonna drop one in your neighborhood. Make sure we're good. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I don't want to put Ms. Arlene on the spot, but I think she chairs the, do you have any additional information, Ms. Arlene, on maybe why the change between denial and approval?
The board considered the letter of information that was provided and made the change, made the decision. I'm not aware of any closed door meetings where that was discussed at all.
We've got minutes we can go back to also.
Right.
Yep, we got that.
So I think, I mean, I understand the complaint is that we have an ordinance that says we don't allow them, and they were denied and then allowed. So I understand the complaint, and I also understand that our process is we put people on boards to make the decisions for the appeal, and they've made those decisions. But I do think that if we have constituent complaints, we need to investigate them. So I'm sure everybody on the board has heard from different people that have called about either they have been denied the ability to have the storage containers, or didn't agree with the ruling that they would have storage containers, and just questioning how one can be denied and one can be approved without some kind of information. It may be in the board minutes. I guess we need to pull the board minutes and see what. I don't think they are, which is another that you're going to think of later.
May I ask you that question? Was that P&Z meeting recorded?
I don't think they are. So P&Z meeting is not recorded on it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We have recommended.
Yeah, that's something we can talk about later, but I think that we started doing these.
I think that way we got a track history of
Board of Assessors also.
But
we got an equipment pay for it, and also.
in the essence of time, Chairman, I do think this is a valid complaint to investigate. I have, all the ones that have called me, I've told them that is a final decision, so it's not like this board overrules that board, but there is, in my opinion, grounds for looking at it as to why that decision was made. And I mean, I think this board is all about, if it was a wrong decision, we figure out why it was wrong, and we don't, and we try to correct the decision. But I know that flies in the face of me saying that we don't go against what the board, if a board ruling is final, I've got questions based on the pictures and based on several meetings we've had lately about trucks, and we had this big meeting about 18-wheelers being parked in the roadway, and how we didn't want to see this happening and how we're trying to, beautify the community and not have storage containers and all this kind of stuff. It does beg the question of why one is approved and one's not. And I don't want to second guess that board without the full information, because I don't know. Right.
We try to get out of it.
Well, I can tell you that he was asked, would you like to see pictures? No, I don't need to see pictures. Would you like to see our petition if people don't want to hear? No, I don't need to see your petition. I mean, it was obvious at the second meeting, and it was obvious at the third, and that's my problem with it. It was a dog and pony show. I mean, that's all it was.
I was just gonna share that there were a number of people in the audience who were in support of the applicant and not opposed, so there was a wide range of opinions.
And most of them did not live in our neighborhood.
Some of them lived nearby according to their
But
addresses.
all the people that contacted me, there were more that did not want containers in the neighborhood. And I can tell you, as a commissioner in that district, I'm highly opposed. I don't know how y'all made that decision, and they can be a little impartial, but I'm not, because you were in Clinton. I know it, and most people in Bray and any other place wouldn't want a container in their neighborhood, but it's okay for District 4 to have containers in their neighborhood. So, I mean, that's my issue, that it's an ordinance, and we try to be consistent with that. The variance tonight, and it's not a personal attack, the variance tonight comes to us because it was something out of the norm for that neighborhood, right? But it doesn't mean it's not allowable. It is clearly not allowable in our ordinance to have containers. That's an issue for me.
But that's why we have a variance board, as I understand it.
And we voted against it the first time, right? There was a reason why it was in the ordinance.
But why have a variance board if there is not a situation that might not fit the ordinance?
I would challenge you to say that in the normal execution of the law, we do our best to stay right there on the line of doing what's right. We may not always do what's agreeable, but I promise you, we do our best to do what's right. People may not like it, like tonight, it was what was right because that was allowable by the ordinance. But the ordinance, our ordinance clearly state no metal buildings unless it's in the agricultural zone.
But we hear requests for many things that are opposed to what's in the ordinance. So if we're not gonna allow variances, then we don't need a variance board.
I think I would agree with you.
Well, and that's a fair statement, so I think in this situation, we need to look at what happened and why the variance was, because I mean, to a point, there's been variances on a lot of things that are outside the ordinance. Or we wouldn't have had variances. Sure. There wouldn't be a variance. I would say that because we don't agree on the face of it, that we would agree with a container, a shipping container in somebody's yard where the neighbors can see it. I think that is what validates for me. So let's look into why the decision was made. What were the circumstances around their decision for approving a variance?
And we'll look at it, like I said, we're accusing anybody, we're not names, there's, I always say there's always two sides to every story, so we need to look at both sides and make that educated.
But they just opened up, anybody can put a container in their neighborhood. I mean, that's the danger of it, and,
Without permission. Do what you want to do.
It'll be a work session too.
Okay, all right, I'm ordering container homes, so y'all know that. All right.
I would just ask as a part of that y'all consider the validity of a variance board. If there's never a situation that requires consideration of a variance, then we really don't need a board, and I don't want to have to try to manage it.
That'd be another work session, and I'm just,
I like that on the next meeting agenda, to be honest.
we got a work session on the request for the next kind of time sensitive.
It was just clear to me that wasn't much investigation done beforehand.
Sure.
She claims that the building, the container was there for 9 years. I've lived there since 1989. They were put there approximately 2.5 years earlier. Stood in my backyard and watched them unload them. I didn't know that it was against the rules until later. She says she's lived there for 22 years. She has not. She's lived there less than a year when she got caught up in it for putting her children in Jones County schools from Rogers County.
That's another thing.
Well, I'm just giving you background. She's a habitual liar.
Discussion we need to make, and we want to make. I'm trying to, trying to get it out here. Maybe it's
May we be excused?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
You didn't bring dinner with you?
No.
Come on, sorry.
I got two more, and I got to take a break.
I'm short. My name is Melvin Benson. I live at 220 Huntsville Road, and I've been in the Jones County about 20 years. After 10 of years, I have picked that the next go is at the golf course. We picked that on Monday because they were closed to do maintenance on the golf course. The management took over. They denied us to fix that about a year and a half ago. And they gave us one excuse to the other why we can't come fix there on a Monday when it was designated to for maintenance on the golf course. And I just want to know why that we can't fix that on a Monday.
You're at Hungerford?
220 Hungerford Road.
You'll get your phone number to John, so we
John,
can.
He contacted me, I tried.
John told me to come here and speak my piece.
You want to step forward and give Ms. Wagner your phone number and she can follow up with you? And ma'am, if you want to go ahead and bring your phone number and then
We got,
I know you'll.
we get one more. We
haven't forgotten you. Hold on one second.
Just work with me.
Let's get her number and then.
All right, yeah, we'll get your number, we're gonna hear this, and then, we got to take a break. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, board. I'm Commissioner Wood. As most of you know, I live at 36 East Virginia Lane. I, along with Ken Adams and a bunch of our neighbors, have a petition. And being part of the board, I can give some insight in not being bipartial, biracial, by nothing. After our last meeting, when it was an approval for the shipping containers, Teresa, who sits in Wendy's spot, she approached me after the meeting, because I said, it's got to go before the commissioners anyways, and she said, good, at least the commissioners will do something. I feel for her, she's afraid to make a vote, because she has two people on either side of her that she doesn't know what to do. She's, so I'm hoping that we're going to have a swing in the vote with having a new person on the board, that this is going to give her some confidence, because she'll second, but she won't oppose anything. And it's not bad against her, but, so about the shipping containers, the rehearing was based on new evidence. The new evidence was a letter stating that she had stage 4 cancer. I'm sorry, I'm not sympathetic. We all live, we all die. We come to this earth, we're brought up in our county, in our community. Y'all have seen Ken's pictures, you see my pictures. Be a good steward of the neighborhood that you want to be in. And she hasn't. She's just begging to keep it because somebody says that she can have it. And I'm not going to point out Tim Petrowski, but Tim was definitely part of helping her to move in the direction. I've waited to this meeting to decide whether do I go before Tim and say, okay, I want a rehearing. But I feel that the board's going to do something, to help us out with this. It's based on property values. I just built my house a year and a half ago. I just built a house for my dad who's right next door. So, we're bringing property value in my neighborhood. I mean, we're talking 2 houses over $500,000. So, is it a low-income neighborhood? It is absolutely not. And so, I want to see something done. I don't want to see 10 shipping containers throughout my neighborhood. Do you? I'm asking a question. Do you want to see shipping containers?
Got one on agriculture that I use for coffee, but it's on agriculture as well.
Right. So it's legal. But do you want it next to your house?
I live in the countryside, it's,
Okay. Thank you for evading my question.
It's not 1 acre, it's 2 acre lot.
Right, yeah, I mean, right. And obviously, we need to look into this also, because this isn't the first time we've had to sit back and look forward and look at ordinances and say, are we doing the right thing, or do we need to make a change? It's not the first time we've said, we've got a lot going on right now, it's no excuse, but,
I understand that, if you're building something in the county, that you can have a shipping container until construction's done. We have an address of 325, I think Highway 49, whatever that is. It's a new business. They have 3 shipping containers there. They're not building anything. So we need to nip this in the bud and say, we're not gonna allow this as a county. I've told everybody on board, my goal is to have Jones County look nice. I don't want somebody driving down the wrong road and go, oh crap, I don't want to be down this road. I want everybody to come to the county and go, wow, this looks like a nice place to live. That's the goal.
There's nobody else tonight,
Now, Chris, why don't we take a break, excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Why don't we take a break and let you go to the bathroom and I'll wait.
We've already snuck off and he's still up here holding.
That's fine.
He's got a vice chair, keep your going.
He just will not lose that role.
I apologize for hollering. I told Dale we need a sergeant at arms.
It's gonna change. You know what? You know what? I got this Wind it up and turn it back. That'll take care of it. What are you doing, Holly?
Hey, Brandon, I don't know if I was very new to this.
Well, you know, my daughter is patient, I'm not patient, patient.
Like me on. I got chicken, I got turkey breast in that house.
You got it already.
I have to sell it down, leave that water. You say these people are beans. You make a decision to close them to the board.
All right, everybody back to your seat.
We don't have like a little seed that we can find.
Chris in the house. All right, order. I'm sorry.
Oh, you have to leave the room, sir.
I'm Terry Moore. I live at 136 Fortville Road. I've been there for 17 years since moving here from Birmingham.
timely amount of time. I don't have any grievances, I don't have any complaints, and I really appreciate this board as it's composed right now. I think y'all have done a much improved job since you were elected, and I congratulate you, I appreciate you very much. I was not aware that there was gonna be such an energetic meeting. But,
Just think twice before you come and,
yeah, I'll have to check it out. But anyway, something happened before the sound abated that, I think, Mr. Chairman, you went down to new business and went to number 2. And, I think that y'all voted on, this resolution calling for a referendum. And you voted in favor of it. But I wasn't sure, because there was so much noise, even though I was sitting right here, I really couldn't hear. Sure. And then you doubled back and got the request for replay. I want to say about the request for referendum, I think calling for a referendum is the right thing to do if there's an issue. I went before the city council, they had a group of issues. And all I asked of them was that they not make the decision themselves, but put it out to a referendum. And they refused. You may, if you read our newspaper regularly, they have a real pro-alcohol agenda. Okay, they chastised the city council for not approving it sooner, and then encouraged them to go ahead and approve it. Since I've been here, there's been a steady march of passing ordinances and different things that legalize more different forms of the sale of alcohol. Now, I'm not up here to talk about abstinence or prohibition or anything like that. One of my biggest problems is they throw out their cans along the road where I live. But they did a package store referendum in the city, and it failed. Now, they didn't want it to fail, so they're going to do it again. Okay, so I ask you guys, when we have the referendum, if it fails, let's honor the will of the people and don't make them vote on it over and over. And I thank you very much. I got to go buy a sandwich for my daughter. She texted me during this meeting asking me to go get her a sandwich.
We might need you to bring us one.
You deliver. You take the orders. I could. I mean, as long as I'm going, I can buy it.
Taylor was asking for Little Caesars a moment ago.
You should have heard his stomach.
His did just growl really loud.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Moore, I want to say, you sat here a long time to tell us, A, we're doing a good job, and B, you appreciate us putting it out as a referendum and not making that decision. And we had that conversation this last board meeting. And even the conversation about the city, even though it failed by one vote, it was the will of the people that failed that.
Absolutely.
And we said in this meeting, we don't think 5 of us should make that decision, that the people should make that decision.
Well, if it's an issue you think needs to be decided, I was happy with the way it was, but if you think it needs to be decided, let the people vote on it.
Absolutely.
Now,
That's what it's for.
I moved here, when I retired, I evaluated Charleston and Baxter and Vidalia and Mobile. Where am I gonna retire? Okay? And I was driving up to Lake Oconee, and I was just aghast at the prices of stuff up there. And I came back through Gray, and I saw this big sign about lots for sale, and I went and looked, and they had a lot on the lake, and it looked just as good as Oconee to me. So I'm all here. Okay, I like it here. I like living in the country. I like the laws and regulations that we have. Okay, I didn't know what they were when I moved here, but since I got here, I like them. Y'all be careful about making radical changes. And I think you will. I think you will. I'm really happy with y'all folks.
Thank you. Thank you for
Any
the
sandwiches?
encouraging words.
Well, yeah, I think you need it. This was rough tonight.
Yeah. Commissioners, got any comments tonight?
I got one quick one. And anybody that's out there listening, I should have made it earlier. Brody Law Firm is having a blanket drive to help out some children that are in foster care and in adoption situations. And I would like for us as a community to back Ashley and her law firm. And please bring in blankets, new blankets to be given to these kids. I have 6 of them at the house where they got forgotten this morning, so.
If they wanna bring them up here, I'll pick them up.
Well, my wife was excited to get the shop. She said, well, how do you need? Whatever you want.
So just blankets for the kids that are in adoption and foster care. And she's going through another corporation, a foundation that hands these out to kids that are in foster care.
Brody brings it.
Brody brings it, that's right.
The blanket.
That's it. I make a motion to adjourn.
No, we're not.
Sorry.
Really, regarding that, 10 years ago, no, 12 years ago, my wife and I, we had one daughter, and she was married and living up in Washington, and we took in a little girl in our house. She's been with us for 12 years. And about 4 years ago, we adopted her. Or 2 years ago, because she was 18, their family couldn't interfere with it anymore. Okay, they've given us a rough time. But she's supposed to graduate from college this summer. And she's getting married in June.
Thank you for sharing that story. We need this. Mr. Martin?
I'm going to catch him. I want to thank everybody that showed up and put in the hard work. The board and this work is not easy. Tim, I don't envy your job ever. I'm going to make it harder, I promise. And I thank my firefighters because we heard some stuff about getting down roads, but you still get down there to do it. So I appreciate that. To the public works folks, it's not an easy job. I'm never going to ask you to pave my road. I don't care how bad it gets. So it is what it is. But thank you for going and scraping, and please take care of my lady down there on Mountain Springs Road. And to the commissioner, I've had more fun these last 2 years. I'm thinking about running again just because y'all made it entertaining. But because we do good work, and I appreciate that. Sometimes I give the employees some difficult stuff to deal with, and I might not always agree with the way we do it, but in the end, it works out, and all hearts and minds are clear. And I appreciate it. I mean, even when Ashley brings it, we're going to have a fun time about this cemetery. Because these black folks need to be buried. They're going to be at y'all house.
It's not black and white.
Listen, I know. I'm just letting you know. I like it about it. So, I'm good. I'm good. Peace. Commissioner Wood.
There's issues that come up, and I've had many calls this week, many, countless. And several of these good citizens came tonight because I invited them. Some I couldn't answer. I want the board, the administrator, and the attorney to be present and work through this. And it's going to turn into work sessions, and we're going to figure it out for the people. And that's what we're here for. We're looking forward to everyone.
I got nothing, Chairman, other than we have to make tough decisions, and we have to weigh both sides of every coin, and we hear both sides of every story. And sometimes you have to go on your experience and what's in your heart and mind, and what you think is the best decision for this community. And I appreciate everybody on this board, because we have differences of opinions, and we vote differently, but that's what makes us the greatest country in the world.
Good deal. All right, I want to say something about work session, next meeting, 2 weeks, succession plan for EMA. Yes, I want to invite all the volunteers. I want to hear ideas. I mean, I want to include them in the hiring process. I mean, we're going to have to limit it to maybe captains or whatever, just like we did when we hired Mr. Griffin. But it's going to hit us before we know it. And I don't want to get called. Don says, I'm getting ready to put my toes in the sand, and we're all looking at each other like we haven't even started a succession plan. So,
Do you want to do this at the next meeting?
is right?
Work
What's
session?
that?
So we're at 3 work sessions?
I mean,
Federal's not at the next meeting.
Yeah, yes. The
City Gray is on next Monday.
Yeah, City of Gray is next Monday at 5.
And then our next meeting.
Then the
will be
20th.
Secession. And then I think, and
we need to have.
clearly the cemetery. Wow.
That's not good. We need to address quickly.
Legal work on that.
Yeah.
We can never get it to the public, so it's going to be, but we're going to keep them.
There needs to be some surveys and all that stuff.
Sure, there's a lot of
I want
stuff.
to set that.
Mr. Chairman, would you suggest a 30-minute or an hour kickoff work session on the succession planning, not a 2-hour session?
No, a 1 hour succession plan for PMA that our volunteers can sit here and share their ideas, their thoughts, and, we bring them that, me as one, I feel like we need, just like when we hired Mr. Ruther years ago, I think the volunteers, maybe, captains or whatever, included in the interviews, process, and, to help us make that hard decision, because John's gonna be hard to replace. And, we just need to have a plan in place.
Just quick, Chairman, we talking about, maybe the station captain from each station, because that gives us 12. I think while I want all their opinions, we got 100.
I would love to keep it down to the station captain. Yeah. I mean, everybody's welcome, because this is a public meeting, but I'd love to keep the comments to the station captains that they could share.
And have feedback from their stations.
You're talking about this succession plan. We do have captains retire from time to time. Would we consider including the station captains and some lieutenants?
Whatever I'm open for suggestions, so.
What's your opinion?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I just don't want to leave anybody out important that we need to hear from. Obviously, we can't get all the volunteers here.
No.
But y'all can bring to us.
That brings together the office report.
Right.
I do have a question, right? Because we know we didn't get the grant, and we know we had allocated funds for hiring. I'm not familiar with the hierarchy and who got hired for positions. And if those haven't been filled, no offense, I think if we're hiring somebody, I think that person should be involved in that part of it.
Agreed, and I don't know that we've hired, the 3 stations or the hybrid thing we were looking at, I don't think we've hired them, and I thought that was part of the process. I could be wrong, I thought that was part of the process. Incoming chief should have some say-so in that.
Correct, that would be my preference.
I've heard some great ideas, some money-saving ideas that, they're out there every day. That, you and I, all of us are part-time, so let's hear their succession plan ideas going forward. All the way to, at what point do we make that hire decision and overlap 2 directors to hand the torch over.
Don gave y'all the date, because y'all must know something that I don't know.
He does not.
So he's given an indicator of retiring at what point?
July.
July, so 6 months, all right, 4 months, all right.
Yeah, so I don't want to wait till last minute. And, you know how we have to go.
We need to go ahead within 6 months to find a replacement.
That's what I'm saying, we need a succession plan and go forward.
I would love for him to put that in writing so formally we can post.
Sure.
Because I think that is the legal and right way to do it.
Sure.
While including being posted without question.
So from the volunteers, we want to stop the hiring process, or not on volunteers, on the full-time staff, we want to stop the hiring process on that until we get a new chief in place. Is that what y'all were saying?
That would be my preference. I would like him to be involved with that.
Okay, so you want me to take it down?
So we'd already put out, we put out a hiring proposal, okay,
So
open it up.
I don't mean to stop taking applications. I want him to be involved in the decision making. So
Yeah.
keep you that.
It's just
Yeah,
an
keep you
idea
that. Yeah.
of our, people. Because I've had some great money-saving ideas to put even more people right position that will save the county money. Now, we need to listen to it.
We don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is that person who comes in should be making the hiring decisions.
Sure.
I'm talking about.
All right, this, we'll have a secession meeting, and go from there.
And that's the one for the 20th.
Which one, that was next meeting for 1 hour. We still got time, we're gonna have to do the cemetery, we're gonna have to be to be announced on the cemetery once we get all our ducks in a row, what we've got to do, and get reports from EPD. What they're gonna require us, I'm careful on that, because they, it could be quite costly for us to price them wrong.
What time, Chairman? 5 or
5:30? 5:00.
If you've been
On
talking.
what, when for the secession,
I'm sorry?
for the secession,
Secession, yeah.
5 o'clock, all right,
It's
got
the
that.
only work session for that day, y'all will meet the city on
The 12th.
the 12th. And, that way we can, start a secession plan with anybody.
So you're only allocating 1 hour for the succession plan?
Well, if we need more, but.
I was just asking.
Let's say start with 1, and if we need more, we can always.
Kick it off.
Yeah, we kick it off.
Those are the conversations.
Right.
Okay.
Anything else? Ms. Vaughn, I need a
I
motion.
make a motion that we, adjourn to go into executive session.
For real estate.
Real estate and personnel.
I hope it'll be real quick.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, every one of y'all.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
If y'all see food, just tell